You damn right. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. Not just any Friday. It is the Friday before the championship games in the NFL. Getting to this weekend, it's cool, but it doesn't get you into history. What gets you into history is being one of those two teams, because then forever they'll say Super Bowl and a number, and it's those two teams. This time it's Super Bowl 57. Who's going to make it? We'll be talking about that. We will have our normal Friday guests. We've got basketball to get into. Coming up at 12:30, the Right Call segment with Zay. Texas at Tennessee. Big one in Knoxville tomorrow. It is Chad and Zay on a Friday. I'm Chad Hastings, joined once again by a man that as of this week knows exactly what the Spanish Oaks Caesar salad with the anchovies taste like. It's Zay Collier. What's up, Zay?
I had my pinky up when I was swirling my nice Chianti around and smelling it, even though I don't drink.
Yeah.
I love taking a nice whiff of the nice Chianti.
I didn't realize that was Chianti. So nice.
Happy Friday, y'all. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing very well. Doing very well. I have not had the Spanish Oaks Caesar salad. I've had a few good Caesar salads, but I've never had one that actually had the anchovies in
that was
there.
crazy.
Did you go ahead and eat the anchovies and
Yeah,
just
for sure.
when in Rome, see what it was like?
Yeah, I'm no punk.
Okay.
I'm no punk.
Full-on anchovies
Full-on anchovies.
with the eyes and tails and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I took it to the head. It was off the rip.
I had never had I did not grow up around anchovies at all. Not on pizza, not,
Near did I.
never had it. But then I dated a girl. She was Polish, still one of my really good friends, and her dad would eat them just by themselves. Like he would pull out the little can and do the just bloop, eat them, tear them up. First time I ever had one. It's good.
So Wendy's cool with you having friendships with your exes.
She is.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a woman.
She is. No,
I mean,
she's really, yeah.
You pose no threat at all, so I get that, too.
She's very cool about it because she knows I don't lie well. She knows I don't have the good poker face. And frankly, she knows the most important part, which is even though there are a couple of women out there that will still say they are my friend, after dating me, they don't want to date me anymore. They just don't. You ask them, and they'll tell you that, no, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
No, you let her. You can have that. You can have that part. You can have all that. We don't need that anymore.
That's great.
Just a friendship is all I need. No, I've had that thing for a long, long time. One of my best friends is somebody I've never technically dated I've known her since we were like 5.
Yeah.
It's one of my best friends. She's a doctor in Dallas. So
See, I don't have that luxury because obviously I'm a sex symbol. So
see, yeah, you're in a different world though.
I'm in a different world.
I understand. You're walking around with all that.
Yeah, man.
Which can be a very dangerous thing to a marriage. I'm walking around with all this, which I've almost been married 20 years because of this.
Man, is that Emmanuel Acho? God, he's gained some weight.
Emmanuel let himself
Emmanuel
go.
really let himself go. Oh, that's not him. That's that guy that's on the horn.
The public speaking tour must feed you well. Damn, Emmanuel.
Hey, I always say I'm the Acho brother that couldn't tackle.
Oh, my God. Hey, you'll take that, right?
Oh, I love that.
You'll take
I
it.
will take that.
Dig the Acho brothers. Hope they're both doing well today. We will get into some football stuff. We got to talk about the Cowboys right here at the beginning. But first, let's get you a couple of news and notes. And let me just start with I'm glad this dude is okay story. We tell you to be careful on the roadways out there all the time. How about this one? Conor McGregor was riding a bicycle I believe this was in Ireland, and he got hit by a car.
See, that's what happens. He can't be going from U.S. back to Europe because isn't it on the other side?
They do drive on the
They
other
do drive
side.
on the side. See, I bet you he got a little confused.
Apparently, okay, so here's the Instagram post that went out. It says, got a bang of a car just now from behind. Well phrased, McGregor. It says, a sun trap. The driver couldn't see me. Full speed, straight through me. Thank you, God, it wasn't my time. Thank you, wrestling and judo also. Having an awareness on the landing saved my life. Glad the Notorious one is okay.
Wow, Connor.
Whew. And a good reminder in this town where we are, in and around Austin, Texas, please be careful if you're out there on a bike. There's been a legendary relationship between folks on bikes and folks in cars in this area. Please be careful. Either side of that, make sure you're taking care of each other. Also, the NFL OC discussion continues. We'll get to the Cowboy stuff in a minute, but the Rams, according to reports, are set to hire Mike LaFleur. The Jets just fired him. If you missed that, the Jets fired him, and the Jets are hiring Nathaniel Hackett. I'm going to try to keep all this straight for the quiz later. Mike LaFleur probably going to go to the Rams with Sean McVay. So that is and I'm just trying to double check here about how this all goes. The guy that was on McVay's staff is going back to Kentucky. So if you're trying to keep all of it straight, there's that part. So that kind of gets us started, and it gets us to what I think is the biggest story of the day. And again, Zay's going to get us a good breakdown of Texas and Tennessee. That's a lot of orange on that floor tomorrow in Knoxville.
And Tennessee orange, ugly as hell.
And a lot of defense being played in that game, too. We'll see what Zay thinks of that matchup. Rick Barnes and Rodney Terry. It's going to be a really interesting dynamic throughout that game. But, Zay, I think we have to start with the Cowboys. Yesterday, I'm listening to Ball Don't Lie with Rod and Harge, and they ended up breaking the news to me when Dan Quinn announced to the world that he'd had his interviews, he was done with his interviews, and he's still got work to do in Dallas, so he's coming back for another year. I was pretty excited to hear it as a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, that's huge for all Cowboys fans, for that defense, for the whole organization. I mean, for all the things that went well this season, I think Dan Quinn just dialing it up and understanding his defense. Like, look at the season Micah Parsons has had since he's gotten to the NFL. Like, just both years have been amazing. First team All-Pro. You look at Trayvon Diggs. He went to the Pro Bowl this year, led the league in interceptions last year. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's a Pro Bowl guy. So Dan Quinn's resume as a defensive coordinator, it's good. And he's been very good these last few years, and he was really good in that divisional game against the San Francisco 49ers, who've been lighting everybody up, especially with Brock Purdy taking the snaps. But, you know, you think about Dan Quinn and his career, and you think about all the jobs that he was interviewing for, Denver, Arizona, Indianapolis. All those places have serious question marks. Serious ones. Indianapolis, who knows what's going to happen with that quarterback situation? Plus, the owner is back crap crazy.
Yeah, and we've heard reports that he's not even sitting in on these meetings.
What if disrespectful.
What if you went to interview with the Colts and either he didn't show up or he showed up and he went full Irsay on you? You might be leaving with a certain thought.
Yeah, and Denver and Arizona, both quarterbacks have their own weird problems off the field. And, you know, we talked about it yesterday, which one we'd rather have. So, you know, Dan Quinn being the defensive guy he is, there's some things that he doesn't have to deal with. There's a lot of pressure that he definitely doesn't have to deal with, because if this team does bad, everybody's going to be looking at Big Mike, Big Mac. And everybody knows Cowboy fans can't wait to get rid of him so Dan can maybe get that spot. Now, we don't know if Dan really wants it, but this is a very good situation for the Cowboys. And, yeah, just how this defense has been over these last few years with Dan Quinn at the helm. Yeah, you got to love where you're at with the Cowboys moving forward.
So, remember, you've always got the Specs text line to throw your thoughts in. That is 337-3776. And before I could even ask the question, someone texted these 4 words. Please fire Kellen Moore.
Nah, come on. Bring back the 4 horsemen.
So today, Mike McCarthy says he will meet once again. I think they may have already met once. I'm not sure if they've had. He says it can take a couple days with certain guys. He's going to meet with Kellen Moore. Now let's lay out who else is gone in Dallas, because they announced this yesterday. Multiple coaches are going to be gone. Rob Davis, assistant head coach, gone. This is end of contracts, and they're not renewing. George Edwards, defensive assistant, gone. Joe Philbin, offensive line coach. I think that's a big one. Gone. Who gets that job? Skip Pete, the running backs coach. That's big. For the Cowboys, he's gone. Leon Lett, assistant D-line coach, gone. And Kyle Valero, quality control, they're all gone. So now Cowboys fans,
Leon Lett.
Even Leon Lett. I'm going to ask all of you the question, and I'll ask Zay as a non-Cowboys fan that's willing to become one if they get Bijan.
There we go.
He's already said that.
There we go. Let them know.
I want to know if you're going to sign up. Do you want to sign up for – Sage, you said the 4 horsemen. Let's do that. Do you want to sign up for the 4 horsemen of the Cowboys apocalypse? You know Dak's the quarterback. We now know that McCarthy's the guy, and I'll get to what Jerry said later in the show. That's happening. Now we know Dan Quinn is back. Do you want all 4? That's the question. 337-3776. One listener is already saying, please fire Kellen Moore. Ultimately, I would agree with that because I think if you really want to take a step, something has to change in the triangle made by Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore, Dak Prescott. I have said this all season long, Zay. I've said it as long as the three of them have been together. Somebody has to take care of details. None of them like details. They're like 3 friends that every time they plan for a vacation, they get on the vacation and something key got forgotten. Every time. Oh, man, we came to Barbados and forgot our swimsuits. Yeah, you did. Oh, man, we came to Vegas and nobody's got a credit card. Oh, man, we got to Hawaii and all we brought was winter coats. Oh, man, we went to Iceland and all we brought was summer stuff. Like, that's what happens when you don't have a detail person. So if McCarthy and Dak have to come back, I'm saying you need to find yourself a detail-oriented offensive coordinator. That'd be my way of doing it. What would you tell Cowboys fans to do today?
I mean, you've already gotten rid of a lot of coaches. You just named them out there. Yeah. I would say Dak Prescott has not been the same Dak Prescott since the ankle and thumb. That has a little bit to do with his performance. To me, and his decision-making is horrible. That ain't on Kellen Moore. Just Kellen Moore, to your point, doesn't put Dak in good situations all of the time. I don't know, man. I think it's 50-50 for me.
Okay.
Like
you're at a coin flip.
I'm at a coin flip. Like, you fire him, okay, but who are you going to replace him with? Like, who out there is going to come in? Like, you have no idea what the running back situation is. Are they going to sign Tony Pollard for the low? Are they going to decide to keep Ezekiel Elliott even though he's asking for less money? Like, even if that less money, is it worth it to keep him around? Because he gave you nothing toward the end of the year. So, you know, there's not enough weapons also. Like, look at all the teams that are left. Like, all the 4 teams that are left, a lot of those number 2 wide receivers are way better than the 2, 3, and 4 wide receivers that the Cowboys have. Noah Brown and T.Y. Hilton and Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup, I'm sorry, after that knee injury, he's come back. He's a bit washed at this point. So, yes, CeeDee Lamb has stepped up and had a hell of a season, Pro Bowl type season, but there's no T. Higgins over there that Dak Prescott could throw to. Right. There's no, Travis Kelce on the team along with, Juju Smith. Well, he's not Patrick Mahomes. It's not throw it there, but that's a completely different situation. Mm-hmm. Still, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. There's no Devontae Smith over there for the Cowboys.
They don't have a 2 that could be somebody else's 1.
Yeah, there's limited in certain ways on the roster where it puts too much on Dak Prescott. So I think the Kellen Moore thing, if you would fire him, he'd be taking the bullet. He'd be going Kevin Costner, jumping in front of Whitney Houston, bodyguard style, taking the bullet for more problems that the Cowboys have, including Jerry Jones.
So you would say it's not ultimately Kellen Moore, but I get what you're saying there. Somebody texted, Kellen Moore has nothing to do with Dakota Rain's accuracy. Somebody else says, can Dak be fired? Now, I mean, theoretically, yes, but he's going to be staying. This says they threw the assistant coaches under the bus. Can only get better with Elliott being gone. Dallas has to go get Eric Bieniemy. Now, that would be a hell of a move.
That would be a good move.
I don't know if they're going to do it. How about this? Fire Moore, hire Cliff Kingsbury? I'm assuming they mean?
You got to pay Eric Bieniemy out the ass to get him to leave Andy Reid.
To go lateral.
Yeah, not have and work with Patrick Mahomes to work with a worse quarterback and an owner who knows what he's going to do, completely off the rocker, will go on the radio show and say anything about you every week. Eric don't want them problems.
Somebody texted, as a 49ers fan, I'm saying bring them back, LOL. How dare you? How dare you there? That may tell you, Cowboys fans, what the answer is. This text says Kellen Moore is a fraud, just like when he broke Colt McCoy's wins record. He must go. See, there's a Longhorn fan with memories. I like that. Well done. Well done. Because he did do that as the quarterback at Boise.
Here we go, Chad. Kellen Moore got Cooper Rush 4 wins.
That is technically true. Yeah.
Van Gogh.
It really was that's a great point to bring up because
Mitchell from Modern Family. He got him 4 wins.
Mitchell from Modern Family. He did do that, but I think part of the reason he did that is the idea of Cooper Rush got his brain set just right to know how much you got to run, how much you got to pass, how much you got to believe in your defense. But when Dak came back, it all changed. It changed. His theory kind of went back to where it was. This says on the bright side, the Cowboys have a potential out in 2024 on Dak's contract. Yes, that is true. So the question ultimately is, would you go back to Kellen Moore? There are numbers that would tell you the Cowboys were top 3 in certain categories, top 5 in certain categories. It looks good, but you have to go for that overall feel. What does it feel like in the biggest games? What does it feel like in the biggest moments? What does it feel like in playoff games? And Zay, if all this stuff we're hearing is true, if the stories are right about Dak, that he's checking out of plays, that the Kellen Moore people behind the scenes are saying, hey, man, Kellen Moore's calling plays, Dak's changing it. Dak's doing this. Okay, well, that's a problem that should have been figured out already. I've heard Rod and Harge talk about this in the afternoon, and Patrick, and I think they're absolutely right. The stories back when Linehan was the OC. Remember those days where he didn't directly speak to Dak? Well, that's dumb. That's the offensive coordinator not talking to the starting quarterback.
Yeah, that's ignorant.
In the NFL. He would speak through Kellen Moore.
So weak.
Who was the quarterback's coach at the time. By the way, Nussmeier, the quarterback's coach, is also gone. That's another one of the guys they let go. That's a big deal to me moving forward. So if you have those issues, it needs to be dealt with. And I'll go back to, if you're not changing the head coach and you're not changing the quarterback, there's really only one other option, unless you want to go back around this thing again and go with the Jerry plan. And the Jerry plan is, I like my guys, and I'll take Dak in that situation every time. And if you ask me, I love the kid Kellen Moore. I love him because he's young, and he used to be a quarterback, and he likes to watch the ball fly through the air, and I do too. That's Jerry's answer. So where do you want to go, Cowboys fans? I would say you got to bite the bullet and get a different OC. And I read an idea, Zay. I'm going to throw this one out for Cowboys fans and get a what do you think going on. What about Todd Monken at Georgia? What about that guy that's been an offensive coordinator in the NFL before, that definitely has shown us he knows the balance between run and pass, and he definitely has shown us that he can make an offense feel pretty badass at times, even if the quarterback isn't. Think about it. Todd Monken.
Georgia has like 56 5-star guys just on the squad.
I understand.
You're right.
I get it.
I get it, Todd. Todd does a good job.
And hey, I'm a Bucs fan, so I watched Todd Monken call that offense for a little while. Now, that was a Jameis Winston thing there. Because Jameis Winston and Dak Prescott have different issues. There's a different thing there. Jameis will see an NFL window that he knows he can get the ball into because his arm talent is so incredible. He'll try to do it, and he might fail. Dak at times throws a ball that never should leave his hand. That's the scary part of those last 2 interceptions that we're all talking about. The ball never should have left his hand either time.
Yeah, and let's rewind a little bit back to the Dak Prescott changing plays thing, because a lot of quarterbacks have changed plays and have been great. Like Peyton Manning, that's what people loved about him. Getting to the line, looking at the defense shows something that he saw on film like 3 days ago, and then he'll Omaha, kill.
Right.
And he'll change the play, and everybody will be on the same page. Dak Prescott, he's not good enough for that. So it goes back to the Kellen Moore stuff. He thinks he is, and Jerry tells him he is, and the money that he's getting paid and has been paid says that he is and should be doing those things. And I know that he wants to be in complete control, and you're doing Albertson commercials and Sleep Number and all that. Like, you want to look like the man and call all the shots and get that glory. But sometimes you got to say, okay, coach is right. Coach sees, I'm talking about Kellen Moore, coach sees something there. I need to go with the game plan. Even though I think I see something and I want to change the play, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't do those things. And that's why you see so many turnovers with him. It's just that those types of things there that you should be getting corrected, and, you know, that the great ones see. before the play even happens, where they're so smart, they've watched so much film, the scouting report's there, they've had so many reps. And, going back to Peyton's few years, he was throwing a ton of picks. Like year 2 for Peyton Manning, he has a lot of picks on his belt. So it took him some time. But Dak, having the number of years that he's had and the performance that he had this year, it's tough to look at Kellen Moore and say you're the problem.
Yeah, and
straight up,
I think we got fans that are agreeing with you on the Specs text line. This one says, guys, none of that fixes Dak's accuracy. Nothing changes with Dak. There are a lot of Cowboys fans that are they're focused on number 4, and they're thinking to themselves, accuracy is required, and he doesn't have it. I'll say again, putting on top of that, sometimes the decision making wasn't there either. Forget about accuracy for a second. That one against
the Lenore interception.
Yeah, that first, the one to the left side, right?
Like the hitch route,
jump up in the air,
the comeback route that it was supposed to be.
That ball can't even be released, can it? That's not about how he threw the ball, Zay. It is in a way about how he threw it, but it's also that he threw the ball. Like that. Why are you letting it go? So there's all
in a way, Chad. He's lucky that Lenore jumped it so good that he didn't have like a full start, like a full running start to jump the pass. Like he kind of waited and then had to jump for it, which allowed Ezekiel Elliott to get in position to push him out of bounds. Yeah, if he would have just like jumped it, if the pass would have been a little bit earlier, he would have just jumped in and took off, and that would have been a pick 6, like the minute that we saw with Dak Prescott this season. But the pass was so bad, Lenore he jumped it too early and had to wait on that thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. This says getting the plates out of his thumb might help the accuracy. That is something to bring up as well. He was dealing with that earlier in the year. Not trying to make an excuse, but that also could be a reason. If you're a Cowboys fan, do you want Kellen Moore? Because it feels like those other 3 pieces are in place. Dak, McCarthy, and Dan Quinn now says he's coming back to be the DC. Do you want Kellen Moore as your OC, or do you have other ideas? We're already getting ideas on the Specs text line. 337-3776. NFL championship games coming up as well. We'll get you updated on Patrick Mahomes' situation. Where's that line on Kansas City and Cincinnati? Has it moved any overnight? We'll tell you about that. And then Zay's got the breakdown for you on Texas at Tennessee. The right call segment is coming up as the Longhorns try to get a big win in that Big 12 SEC matchup. Stay with us. It's The Horn. That just sounds too logical to me. Bringing logic to a Cowboys fight? Well done, Harge. Here's something else that's logical. Apple Leasing. It's logical to pay for the part of the car that you're using. That's what the Easy Lease system allows you to do. Call them up, ask questions like I did, because I wasn't a leasing guy. But now I understand how it works, and it's like, oh, that does make sense. And it makes things a lot more flexible, a lot more modular as it goes on. Well, what happens if this is going on? What happens if my lease is this long, but at this point, I decide I want something else? I decide I want to upgrade at that point. They've dealt with all that. They'll deal with it. They'll tell you how that all works, and you're not having to worry about all that cost at the end of everything in terms of buying a car. Leasing has never made more sense. Easiest and safest way to get a new car, any make, any model, any car, any truck, and the same discounts and incentives that the dealers get, they're going to pass those on to you. They'll keep the dealer hassles for themselves. You will not have to sit in a stuffy room for hours and sign documents. You do that electronically, and then they'll deliver right to your driveway and drive away the trade-in if that's what you need them to do. 346-9977 is that number. Jot it down. Get it done today. 346-9977 or go to appleleasing.com. Oh man, this is taking it back right here. Trying to think if this is a fair statement or not. It's got to be, right? This is the most normal member of that family, isn't it? Isn't this the most like normal human that came out of that
She's still
world?
a little off though.
She is, but I'm saying, relatively speaking, is she the most normal person out of that family?
Maybe Tito.
Maybe Tito.
Maybe Tito.
Maybe Tito. All right, so Janet Jackson, Pleasure Principle, correct?
Pleasure Principle. Oh.
Yeah. Now, this is pre-Rhythm Nation, so this is on the Control album, probably?
Yeah, I think so. This is where she's just dancing in like the warehouse. So just like walking while dancing, incredible. Like jumping over chairs and jumping over tables and stuff.
This would be
so athletic.
This is the the musical collaboration with was it Terry Jam and Jimmy? No,
Jimmy Jam.
Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Yeah, those guys.
But this is the dancing collaboration of her and Paula, correct? This is when
I think so.
This is when Paula is the choreographer. Yeah. Because Paula, look carefully, she's in the Nasty video.
Really?
Yeah. You know, when they're sitting in the movie theater and she's like doing it, and then there's the girls in the back doing the Nasty Boys. One of them's Paula Abdul.
Okay.
Yeah. Look
That's
carefully.
dope.
Not that I've ever seen that video. Not that I watched it 20 times a day when it was on back in the day.
Yo, Janet. Man.
Big time, man. Big time. I've always heard that was a great show through the years. Whatever tour Janet was doing, I've heard that was a monster show. And hopefully she will keep doing that. Keep getting out there. And because now she's at the point where she could just say, I'm going to go out and sing all the stuff y'all love.
Like, you know how she's weird? I just saw an interview with a recent interview. She was on some radio show. She's never heard of hot Cheetos before.
Really?
Like, she didn't know they existed.
Wow. But
And
she
I was
does
like,
know
okay.
Cheetos.
Yes.
Okay, well, at least she knows that.
Yeah, she was like, oh, hot Cheetos. That does sound good. And I'm like, oh, wow, Janet. Like, you do have street cred. Like, you were married to Jermaine Dupri for a minute, which I don't know how he bagged that. Like, Jermaine Dupri, he's no Blair Underwood. That's for sure.
No, he is not. No, he is not. Definitely not. Janet Jackson gets us started musically today. Remember, you've got basketball. Both Texas teams in action tomorrow. We're going to talk Texas and Tennessee coming up here. Remember, that's a 5 o'clock tip time, 4:30 pregame for you right here on the Horn. Over on 105.3 The Bat, it's Texas women's basketball. At home, if you want to go to the Moody Center tomorrow at 7 for tip time, 6:45 pregame over on The Bat there. And before we get into the Texas basketball part of it, let's also get a little RIP going today. Billy Packer died, 82 years old, the legendary analyst for CBS and I guess before that NBC. But through my whole life, Zay, when it got to Final Four tournament time, it was about Jim Nantz on play-by-play, and Billy Packer was the analyst. And he had been apparently suffering from a few different things the last few weeks. Kidney failure is what the family is saying ultimately was the deal there. But 82 years old. Rest in peace to Billy Packer. Certainly over the years, one of the guys I've heard talk college basketball more than just about anybody else.
Yeah. Talk about a guy that loved college basketball, big part of the game. I know Dick Vitale's probably thought about a little more, but, you know, when it came to those CBS games and those Final Four games that you remember in March, Packer, he was doing them, and he will be missed.
Yeah.
Rest in power.
No doubt. Billy Packer dead at the age of 82. All right, speaking of college basketball, there's going to be lots and lots of orange in the house tomorrow in Knoxville. Let's get into it. Texas is 17-3, 6-2 in conference. They'll duck out of Big 12 play to take on their old coach, Rick Barnes, and you got the Rodney Terry factor. Let's get you the right call. Zay, it's Texas and Tennessee.
Thank you, Chad. The Right Call segment is brought to you by Syntex Tickets. Go to syntextickets.com for your stand-up theater, sports tickets, concert tickets. You hear Bucky Gobble on these airways. Hey, Shelby, get them to me and get them to me quick. Go to syntextickets.com and you can get them quick there. But you're right, Chad. The real UT is going up to Knoxville tomorrow to face one of the best teams in the nation, one of those teams that I wouldn't be surprised once March comes around, we see a lot of people picking them to win a national championship because of their defense and how they play as a whole. We know Rick Barnes and what he did during his tenure down at the University of Texas. He's always had good teams. He's a very disciplined guy, and his teams play that way, and they just play with his type of energy, and they feed off of him. And he's got another really good squad, a squad that, last year they were really good, but they didn't go as far as we thought. They lost early in the second round, and a lot of people had them going to the Final Four last year. So a lot of those guys came back, like Josiah Jordan-James, the lefty 6'5" guy. He's a matchup nightmare. He's only played in 12 games this season, so it kind of took him a while to get his legs under him and get acclimated to the game and the speed this season. But when he's going, he's a tough guard. So those guys like Timmy Allen and Christian Bishop, even Dylan Dessou, Brock Cunningham, all those guys, they're going to get their shot at guarding him. Dylan Mitchell also, and he's a force. Zakai Ziegler and Santiago Vescovi, they really are the guys who are the pedal to the metal for this Vols team. Those two guards, like Zakai Ziegler, he's out of New York. I don't know if you watch much of the Pelicans chat, but they got a guy named Jose Alvarado who's also from New York, and he kind of changes the game once he gets in there. He's a defensive pest, kind of like a Patrick Beverly. Zakai Ziegler is just like that. I look for him. He's 5'8". Now, was he 5'9".
Was he there last year?
Yes.
So I recognize
he has like that
name,
ponytail.
Right? Yeah.
I know he got Indian in his family. You could tell. Oh boy, definitely got Indian in his family. He got that good hair. But with the way Marcus Carr's been playing these last 12 games, averaging over 20 points, Rick Barnes knows if they could stop Marcus Carr, if they could stop Timmy Allen, and they got two guys that are both really good defenders that I think are going to be on them at different times. Zakai Ziegler being on Marcus Carr, and then Julian Phillips, 6'8", 6'9" wing, who's a freshman. He's coming into his own. He was SEC Player of the Week last week, averaging 14 a game. We know that's the type of problems that Timmy Allen has on the court when he has those real long, athletic guys that are bigger than him. People forget, even though sometimes he plays a lot bigger than he is, he's only 6'5", Timmy Allen. So those and he's not an above-the-rim guy. He's really going to have to pick and choose his spots on where to score. And we know if he's not scoring, sometimes that could be a problem. So, we had Jeff Howell on the show yesterday, and he made a great point. They can't go through those droughts that we saw a lot last year, those 10-minute, 15-minute against Iowa State, 17-minute droughts without a field goal, without a bucket. That can't happen. And that could easily happen against the number one defensive team in the nation. They're the number one defensive team in the nation for a reason. So Oliver Kamwa, their big man, number 13, he's alone. They can do multiple things off the dribble. They got another dude from overseas, Petris Pavic, something like that. He's nice. He's about 7'1". He'll come off the bench and he'll get physical down low. It's going to be a battle.
Uros Plavsic?
I know I botched that. Craig Way's probably rolling over in Knoxville right now like, dadgummit, come on. But, but this squad, they could win a national championship. Like, this is not going to be an easy one. These next 4 games, I've been talking about they ain't going to be easy, and it starts tomorrow in Knoxville. Tyreek Key coming off the bench, light-skinned brother, he could shoot. You better not leave him open. You can't leave Vescovi open. He's an underrated defender. Zakai Ziegler, he's their second leading scorer. He will shoot the 3. You can't leave him open. Tyrese Hunter's going to have to come to play. We're going to need more than what we've seen out of Tyrese Hunter as of late. West Virginia Tyrese Hunter was hooping before he got those cramping issues which we always got to worry about that when he plays, every time he steps on the court. But he was hooping in that game, and he had that big 3 against Oklahoma State. So hopefully that gives him a little bit more confidence. Anything that the freshman could give you is needed. Arterio Morris, Dylan Mitchell, anything. Y'all got limited minutes. I love Arterio Morris. Like, he knows he's only getting 11. And his thing is just not to muck up. Just don't muck up. And that's tough when you know you're not getting many minutes, because that's what you're thinking of. You're thinking, I have to capitalize on every single chance I get. I can't have any wasted moments out here because I don't have many of them. So I think sometimes Arterio Morris tries to do too much to make the most of his minutes. You still got to let the game come to you. It's crazy. You don't have to worry about Serge Ibaka Rice, but you need his scoring. when he's attacking, when he's aggressive, the team is just looking better and better. So I think it's going to be a tougher night for a Marcus Carr because they're going to focus on him. Every time he comes off screens, he's probably going to get double teamed. The guy Ziegler is an absolute dog. It's going to be hard to get those pull up jumpers up because he's going to be on his Muggsy Bogues ish and be right under him looking for steals. He's averaging around 3 steals a game. You know, he's a problem, and they're going to be hounding the Horns all game long. The Horns got to bring their A game defensively, and you're going to need Brock Cunningham to have one of those 3-point games. You're going to need other guys than Timmy Allen and Marcus Carr stepping up, and I think they can do that.
Texas and Tennessee tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Rick Barnes and Rodney Terry. I haven't heard that part talked about. Has Rick Barnes ever coached against Rodney Terry, head coaches on each side?
Oh, I think so.
Maybe a couple times?
I think when Coach Terry was at Fresno State.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So they would have matched up a couple times there. I'll be interested to see kind of where, what happens there. Before we hit
they got a good relationship.
Before we hit the break, if Tennessee is able to contain Marcus Carr, who's that next guy you're looking for Texas? Is it Timmy Allen or is it somebody else?
I mean, you would like it to be Timmy Allen, but I think it would have to be.
If Carr can't get to 20, let's say he can't get to 20, 25, but somebody else can. Is it Allen?
Sir'Jabari Rice, Tyrese Hunter.
Okay.
Both of them combined.
All right.
Both of them
combine those two.
Yeah,
okay.
I like Santiago Vescovi defensively, but he's their weaker link. He's a good defender, and he will rip you if you get the chance. I was watching the Georgia game, and he plucked somebody's egg in that game, trying to make a little crossover right in front of him. He said none of that. And also, Santiago Vescovi, he has Ginobili tendencies. He's a lefty. He's from overseas.
Okay.
He has Ginobili tendencies. He'll put the ball on the deck and throw some crazy stuff up and like do some Euro stuff. And you're like, okay. He doesn't do it much, but he'll showcase that. So don't let him get going. Do not let him get going. This team is really good, but yeah, if Marcus Carr doesn't get to his 18-point average, 22 or 20-something point average over these last 12 games, Sir'Jabari Rice and especially Tyrese Hunter, those two guards are going to have to step up.
All right, we get you the right call segment every show before a Texas basketball game. And again, brought to you by Syntex Tickets for all your ticket needs. Maybe you're going to head off to the women's game tomorrow evening. Syntex Tickets can probably help you get into the Moody Center, right?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Of course. All right. So go check that out. They had a nice crowd out there last time, by the way. Women got a nice record up to, 6,600, I think, last time at the Moody Center.
Okay.
So fans showing up to see that good team play as well. And they just busted Oklahoma up by 20. All right. Coming up at 1:05, Brandon Lang, the degenerate himself, to tell you what he thinks of the championship games. We'll talk about that AFC game. It's swung. It's still sitting at Kansas City -1. It hasn't gone any further than that. And then the NFC game looks like Philly still -2.5. We'll get Brandon's thoughts on those coming up at 1:05. At 2:05, it's our weekly conversation with Jeff Ketchum of OrangeBloods.com. Get his thoughts on the Longhorns and the Cowboys. Up next in the crap bag, an old Aggie tradition goes viral. We'll tell you what did and didn't happen. Plus, that delivery, yeah, it was a prank. I'll explain on the Horn. Oh, you are starting with some talented hotties today. You start with Janet Jackson, and now we're moving on to the Bangles, featuring Susanna Hoffs on not lead guitar, but rhythm guitar and lead vocals.
Those girls.
She was so nice back in the day. Not that the others weren't attractive. They were. But she was the Bangle as far as I was concerned. So sexy. In Your Room by the Bangles,
In
right?
Your Room, yeah.
There it is. There it is. Starting with some serious female talent today. The Bangles and Janet Jackson get us started today. We hope you're having a good Friday. Give us your thoughts on the championship games. But more importantly, Cowboys fans, do you want Kellen Moore or not? Now you got to decide. 3 of the 4 are coming back. You know Dak's going to be your quarterback, and you know Mike McCarthy is your head coach. And now we know Dan Quinn is your defensive coordinator because he says, yeah, I did the interviews. But Zay might be right. He interviewed in some weird situations. He says they have unfinished business in Dallas. That's got to be great news for Micah Parsons and that defense. So now, do you want to just bring it all back? You want to re-rack it and sign on for another year with Kellen Moore? Once Carolina picked Frank Reich yesterday, you would think that's the Kellen Moore discussion over in terms of head coaching because that's the only interview he got. So if that's not going to happen.
Hey, Coach, can I come back?
You would assume.
Gary, can I come back?
You would assume he can if he wants it. The question is, does he get to come back if he wants to? Today, Mike McCarthy's going to meet with him. What would you do if you were Mike McCarthy today, Jerry Jones today? Do you go again with Kellen Moore? What's Dak Prescott thinking today? Does number 4 want Kellen Moore for another year? We'll continue to talk about all that. We will also get you a little crap bag here. I will tell you about an old tradition that did not come through yesterday at my alma mater. Here we go.
Chad's crap bag.
Crap bag. If you need an easy way to remember it, just think of a bag of crap.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Let's face it, this is one of those stories where if you love making fun of the Aggies, you're going to make fun of it either way, no matter what would have happened. But I've got confirmation because there is now a Sacamano at A&M. That's right, my buddy Rick Sacamano's kid, Z Sacamano, he is a freshman at A&M, and he was in the class yesterday when it happened. Political science, pretty big class. And Reveille was in the class, and Reveille barked. The tradition is that when Reveille barks in a class, the class is over. The class is dismissed. The old theory is that she's bored. And if she's bored, the class doesn't need to continue. But yesterday, Zay, apparently the professor, a female professor, if that matters, decided that she would commit a little, well, no, I don't want to go that far. It's not that crude, but let's go female on female crime. Since Reveille is a female as well. She decided to not say class was over. She, in fact, said if that dog barks again, I don't know if she actually used the word dog, if she barks again, she's out. So Aggies are talking about it. People are making fun of the Aggies talking about it. Remember, Reveille is the highest ranking member of the Corps. She has a higher ranking than a 4-star general. So technically that prof was throwing a 4-star general, threatening to throw a 4-star general out of the class.
Wow.
But they didn't stop the class.
Yeah, as much as I love this story and think it's ridiculous, let's be honest, Chad. There was only one B in that classroom, and it was not Reveille. That's for sure. This is ridiculous. I mean, come on, Teach. You should be put on leave without pay.
Wow.
To think about what you did. You're messing up tradition. As whack as a tradition is, which it should be bad. I mean, what if Reveille drops a deuce? What do you do then?
I've never heard a tradition on that.
Never heard?
Nope.
Nobody knows what happens then?
Never heard
Okay,
about
Reveille's too trained for that. Okay, well.
Somebody needs to change Reveille's diet, I think is what happens. Yeah. I think that's what happens.
But still.
It's fun.
Professor needs to be placed on leave. This is bad. I do not like this.
This is such a modern story because when I was there, I mean, before I was at school there, I remember hearing stories of Reveille barking and both things happening because it's all about the prof. You'd always say if you had Reveille in the class, well, you'd find out what the prof was like, and somebody would ask the prof ahead of time. Ask him or her, hey, what would you do if Reveille barked in the class? And they would tell you. Then you find out how much of an Aggie they are or how into the Aggie stuff they were. To me, no big deal either way. It's up to the prof. She can do whatever she wants. A lot of people are getting upset. My man Sacamano texted me last night, I do not believe in your traditions anymore. I think it's all. And I'm like, wait a minute. All of your belief in Aggie traditions was built on the dog barking in class one? Like, that's where you started it all? He was disappointed, and apparently the kids were disappointed as well.
Does Ugga bark in class?
I don't think Ugga's ever in a class.
Yeah.
The reason Reveille ends up in classes is because there's a company in the court that keeps track of her, and they're supposed to keep her all day, all night, 24 hours a day, make sure she's safe so nobody steals her. And then sometimes if the guy's got to go to class, you got to go to class. So I had Reveille in a class. In fact, I had Reveille and the starting quarterback on the football team in the same political science class. Reveille never barked. She just laid
Ever?
Ever.
Whole semester?
The whole semester. She just laid on the floor, and one day she ate ants off the floor.
Ugh.
Little string of ants going by, and she just took the tongue and just just licking ants off the floor. But she was
very Aggie-like. She would very smart.
You would just lay out. How dare you? Little protein snack. She would lay out. A lot of cultures do that. She would just lay out on the floor, no problem. And Corey Pullig was in the class too. So I had the starting quarterback and Reveille in the same class. She never barked. Corey never barked, and everything was fine.
Has Reveille ever bit anyone?
I'm sure in the whole run, probably at some point, but generally,
knowing y'all, it's probably not documented.
Generally, they train them really, really, really well because they got to be able to. They'll do stuff where Reveille just sits there and you can come take pictures, line up, bring your kids, take a picture like for the Christmas cards or whatever.
As big of a school for veterinarians as A&M is, Reveille, she's taken care of.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
always.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it. No, she's definitely taken care of. She thought class needed to end, but the prof did not. So that happened.
Fire her.
That happened at A&M yesterday. They did not get a walk. We'll see if anybody wants to talk to the prof about that. The other quick story is, Zay, did you see this thing at I believe it was a Duquesne basketball game, which I think is in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken, where the Uber Eats guy showed up in the middle of the game? So they've now tracked this back. It was a prank. A legit prank. They realized as they were looking at the guy, he had a microphone on, and a whole bunch of people were videoing as it began. He had a McDonald's bag in his hand, yellow jacket, and he's trying to get on. He literally walks out
on the court,
onto the court, and you see a guy bringing the ball up the floor. So they've got to look into their security measures because, you know, they got to look into, did this guy actually get a ticket to the game, or did he literally walk to the front door of the arena and say, hey, I got an order for Bill? I mean, you can't do that. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't bring no outside food into the Moody Center.
Right.
They're going to stop you right there, like, hey, you better eat this outside or you can't take it in.
You can't deliver food.
So where was that? Duquesne, you said?
Duquesne, yeah.
Yeah, I know they're not on that Power 6 elite level. But still,
that's not good.
How they get the McDonald's in there? And then the ref really didn't stop the play. The ref was like, "Get the hell out of here!" Stop. Yeah. You know, the ref never really stopped the play from going on.
Yeah, at that point, to me, you got to blow that whistle and get security on him.
Oh, boy is on the court. He's in the corner.
I'm not saying you have to tackle him to the ground. You need to get him on the ground, though. And
he needs to be tackled.
You need to make an example out of that situation.
He needs to be Brian Dawkins tackled.
Now, when they asked the coach about it, one of the two coaches had a good story from the past that he said, I never heard anything about this. He goes, I've heard of something close, though. And I think he said he was at Eastern Michigan or something back in the day. And they set it up where the ice cream guy inside the arena went and delivered an ice cream to, like, the other coach. Somebody set it up. They were delivering ice cream to the opposite bench. Now, that's funny.
That is funny.
And totally understandable how it could happen. But you bring up the proper question here is, how did you get the McDonald's into the arena? Outside food, into the building, and all the way onto the floor. That's not good.
Yeah, unless if the McDonald's is at the concession stand.
And maybe that's what it is. Yeah, right. If they've got it inside the arena, then he buys the ticket. I guess maybe you could see how it would get there. But that was a prank, the Uber Eats prank. Also, since it is the crab bag, I will mention it. I heard it this morning. Actually, I've still not heard it, but I always hear about it. And I figured we need to really share this with the people. If you haven't checked out our new YouTube channel, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@thehornaustin. Where are we sitting right now? We are at 629 subscribers, and we're trying to get to 1,000. Help us get to 1,000. Subscribe to our YouTube page, and here's how I'll entice you right now. Post it on the page. Bucky telling the baked potato story. I've never heard it. All these years, I hear them talk about it. I hear it referenced. I've never actually heard it. Zay, was today your first time to hear it?
It was my first time. It was a wild listen.
I still never heard it.
It was a wild listen.
But it is on there, along with other things like Jeff Howe and Craig talking about Chris Jackson's hire, along with my little rant about Jerry Jones, along with Aaron Hogan hitting that tree on the golf course. There's all kinds of stuff there. Zay's got a couple videos up there as well, breaking some stuff down. Texas basketball, recapping that last win. Check out our YouTube page if you like, youtube.com/@thehornaustin, and we'll continue to get some stuff posted for you there. Crap Bag every day about 12:45. All right, coming up, it's Brandon Lang of BrandonLang.com. We'll get his thoughts on the championship games, see if he's got a thought on Texas, Tennessee, and maybe some other college basketball stuff. It is next on The Horn. All right, let's go hour number 2 on a Friday, getting ready for those NFL championship games, college basketball rolling. Remember, Texas at Tennessee is a 5 o'clock tip tomorrow, 4:30 on that pregame time. It's Chad and Zay on a Friday. Let's go to the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina Hotline. It's one of our favorite segments of the week. And if you're thinking about laying a little scratch down on some games, it's always something to check out. It is Brandon Lang, BrandonLang.com. Check out Believe Me, the show he's doing with Cordell Stewart at Believe Sports for that Believe Network. Brandon Lang, how are you, sir?
Well, courtesy of Andy Reid going into another one of his fat food comas. He just sometimes late in the game, the only thing he thinks about is the dozen Dunkin' Donuts that are back in his office that he's just going to sit there and eat after he does his press conference after the game, and the cold pizza left over from the night before that he's just going to put in the microwave and, bang that out while he's at it too. And when you're thinking about those things, you don't think about how to run off the clock with 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go, and you're winning by 10 up, laying 9.5, and the whole world has you. Andy didn't care about that. He's like, pizza and donuts. That's my go-to after the game. And if the wife got by the locker room and put that Haagen-Dazs vanilla swill salmon, 3 of those little small containers in there, I'm golden. I'm good to go. You see, because what Andy did was, when they got the interception, and it was 4:50 on the clock, and Jags had 3 timeouts, they ran it on first down. They picked up 6 yards. Well, there's no use to use the one pass play you've been waiting to use in this situation when it's 2nd and 4. Just run it twice, pick up first down. Now you're in the second set of downs. Now you run it for 2-3 yards, 2nd and 7. And now you use the pass play from your 32-yard line. And now you pick up the first down, you take a knee. And B. Lang at BrandonLang.com is a perfect 5-0 in the NFL playoffs heading into this weekend. But no, Andy decides to use the pass play on 2nd and 6, picks up the first down, runs it into the line 3 times, punts and gives Trevor the ball back with 1:05 to go, and he turns and says to Steve Spangler, Steve, don't blitz, bud. Don't blitz. Just said rush 3, drop 8, let him go down the field, kick field goal. What an onside kick, but our special teams needs a little practice, and we'll win by 7. All right, Steve, go get him, Steve. I'm going to tell somebody to heat up the pizza. Hey, assistant, go heat up that pizza. Heat up that meat lovers. Yeah, 4 pieces, the big ones. Not the little slices, the big ones. And while you're at it, you take the frozen breadsticks out. All those babies out. 6 of those breadsticks with that Alfredo sauce that I've got. Right? Thanks, bud. Let's go, guys. That's our boy Andy Reid. So I will take so much satisfaction when I watch Joe Cool go in there and beat this team for a 4th straight time. And the Cincinnati Bengals have a swagger about them where they know it. They knew on Monday night when they played the Buffalo Bills that they were going to tattoo their butt. They knew it. It's why they won the toss and took the ball, and 6 plays later it was 7-0. And the Bills got a field goal. 3 plays later they're at midfield. And then DeMar, the only thing DeMar did was delayed the inevitable, which was a beatdown that the Bengals were going to give Josh Allen. Dad, what time are we going hunting? Dad, what time are we going hunting? Yeah, I got nothing else to do. We just got beat by the Bengals. Yeah, Dad, we're going to hunt all winter. Yeah, okay, great. So now they're heading into Kansas City. And I'm going to say this on your show right now. Patrick Mahomes, when it's all said and done, and I'm going to stay in touch with you guys for the next 10 years. I'll be 69 years old, and you guys be like, B-Lang, I remember that day before the AFC NFC Championship game, 2023, when you came on our show and you said this, and I didn't believe you, B-Lang. I said, B-Lang hitting the bomb, although he don't smoke weed, but he hit something because B-Lang made this statement and said that Patrick Mahomes, when it was all said and done, was going to be the second coming of Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh. Because
as good as Aaron Rodgers is, as good as Aaron Rodgers is, and when he retires, as good as he was, he only won 1 Super Bowl. Take a deep breath now. Now, if I was going to tell you when Aaron Rodgers won that Super Bowl in 2010, if that was going to be the last Super Bowl he ever won, you'd have looked at me like I was out my mind, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And if Bruce Arians doesn't run the football to start the fourth quarter on 2nd down and 1 when the Pittsburgh Steelers are up 4, they end up winning that Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't get 1 Super Bowl victory. And if Chris Jones doesn't bat down 2 third-down passes where Kittle and Samuels is wide open for the conversion, Mahomes doesn't win that Super Bowl. Because if you look at the 8 quarters he's played in the Super Bowl, boys, he's played 1/2 of a quarter. The fourth quarter against the Niners. He was garbage for 4 quarters against Tampa Bay. He was garbage for 3 quarters against San Francisco. And yet people anoint this kid like he's the second coming. Why? Because he does a no-look pass 10 yards down the field, because he scrambles around and runs around for a half hour, makes a play downfield. Yep, people are enamored with his talent. Mark my words. He's got to go through Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I'm telling you, boys, teams are catching up, and your window of opportunity only lasts through a 4 or 5 year period. You know this. Let history show you. Let history show you, boys. When you have a nucleus that they have together, salary cap and everything catches up, you only got a 4 or 5 year window, and then it's done. And his 4 or 5 year window is up. Give me the Bengals to go in there and beat them for a 4th straight time. And they're popping off in their locker room just like they did before the Bills game, because they know they're going to go in there and win. And that's not even my best bet. I like Cincinnati, and I want to see Kansas City lose. And I'll run from here 11 miles to the Strip yelling and screaming if Cincinnati wins, because I hate, I'm going to say it again, I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. I will not wear red. I've burned every piece of red garment I have. I will not wear the color red for the rest of my life until Andy Reid retires. Anyway,
there it is.
So that's your breakdown of Cincinnati and Kansas City. Now, let's go to the Niners.
All right.
Question number 1. What is the best defense against a poor secondary?
What is the best defense against a poor? Yeah. Get to the quarterback.
Pass rush. So your defensive line can protect against the weak secondary. What team in the NFL has given up more passes of 25 yards or longer in the entire NFL this year?
More passes.
I would say the Chiefs, but that can't be right.
Is it?
If we're talking about San Francisco and Philadelphia,
No.
What do you think the answer would be?
No, it's one of these.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's one of these two Niners.
Yes.
Okay.
Huh.
They've given up more passes of 25 yards or longer this year. So what's that tell you? That tells you is if they don't get pressure on the quarterback, that quarterback's going to have a big day. And I bring you, Your Honor, members of the jury, members of the congregation, I bring you to the one point of reference is all you need to know who's going to win between the Niners and the Eagles. Week 17 in Vegas against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, my man Jared Stidham, all he did was set the bench, hold that little Surface iPad for when Derek Carr came over and sat down. He's like, "Yo, D, you missed Devontae here. Yeah. Oh, look up in the stands. Yeah, look, row 25. Yeah, that's that Russian girl I met at Spearmint Rhino last week, man. She hot, bro." Yeah, no, listen, I can neither confirm nor deny, living here in Vegas, that I rolled a little craps with my boy Stidman. I can either confirm nor deny. Nor I can either confirm nor deny this year whether I bumped into and gave a little pound at Crazy Horse 3 or Spearmint Rhino. I can't. I'm not going there. I'm not going to confirm nor deny. I'm just not. But the man making about $3 million a year to sit on the bench the entire year and do nothing but chill in Vegas and ball out when he's not on the field. My man, pots and pans, get after it, kid. Then week 17, he gets a phone call. All right? Good. Josh, yeah, we let Carr go. Yeah, you're starting this week. Yeah, Niners, number 1 defense. Be ready to go. He stretches and goes, "Ain't nothing but a chicken wing, baby. I got this. Let's go." Oh, my girls are going to be here. It's going to be good. How many times? Now, we're talking about Hall of Famer Jared Stidman. Stidman's going to the Hall of Fame. With Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. He's going. He's going. Because how else can you explain that the Niners defense, which is the greatest defense we've ever seen? I mean, watch TV. Everybody says they're great. Oh, they're fast. They're physical. Oh, my God. What are we going to do? I'll tell you what Jared Stidman did. first and foremost, this great Joey Bosa and all these boys up front, or Nick Bosa or whatever, Bozo, how many times they sacked Jared Stidham? How many times they get pressure and sack Jared Stidham?
I believe it was none.
Okay, Family Feud. Bah! None. And Hall of Famer Jared Stidham against that defense that got no sacks went 23 of 34 for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns off the bench in a game that the Raiders should have won. So now you want to tell me that they're going to roll into Philly against that offense and the best offensive line they've seen all year long and make Jalen Hurts look like the second coming of Rex Grossman or Jay Cutler? Ain't happening, boys. And on the other side of the film, other side of the ledger, here we go. Our boy Brock Purdy has faced the number 2, number 3, and number 4 defenses that get pressure on the quarterback faster than anyone. He's had his 3 worst passer rating games against those 3 defenses. Guess what? On Sunday, he faces number 1. The Philadelphia Eagles D-line gets pressure on the quarterback faster than any team in the NFL and leads the NFL in sacks this year. So I tell you, if Brock Purdy rolls into Philadelphia, Pennsylvania against this defensive line and plays an air-free game and beats this team and goes from the last pick in the draft to the Super Bowl, I'll pay my man to say, here, take it. Say, listen, I never thought my man could do that. Ain't happening, guys. You got a better chance of seeing 4 of the hottest porn stars roll into your studio right now with Michael Jordan and 4 Nike basketballs than that happening on Sunday. And I don't see no knock on your little studio door right now.
No.
Philadelphia is a best bet. People are so enamored with the Niners all year long. After I get off the air, just look at this 12-game winning streak and look who they beat. But more importantly, look at the quarterbacks they beat. Kellen Moore should have been fired 5 seconds after the Dallas Cowboys lost to the San Francisco 49ers. You're in complete control of the game. You're in the red zone. It's 2nd down and 2. Son, why are you throwing the football there, son? Go back to Boise and run your dad's car wash and have an A1 day. Wasn't that the name of the car wash in Breaking Bad? A1 day? Wasn't that what it was? The boy needs a word. You know what? Better yet, roll through the car wash. Say, Kellen, wipe down my Mercedes, man. Use the blue rag this time and not the white rag. He gets so much praise for being a great offensive coordinator. The Dallas Cowboy offense struggled because of Kellen Moore. And if they don't fire him, it's going to be the same exact result next year. And if somebody hires this kid as the head coach, that's the second coming of Nathaniel Hackett. I'm telling you right now. Dallas should have beat him. They didn't because Kellen Moore is Bozo the Clown and playing Santa Claus at your nearest shopping mall.
Oh my God! Hey, Brandon, we've already had Cowboy fans agreeing with you today that want Kellen Moore gone. They're having that discussion today, so that may be the result at the end of the day.
Yeah. So B-Lang, you got Eagles, Bengals, Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds like it.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially for those people.
I don't know.
Brandon, what about those people that were able to get Cincinnati at like plus 2.5? Is that what it was? It's swung all the way back now to Kansas City, but was 2.5 the biggest number you saw for Kansas City earlier?
Yeah, never got to 3. And then once reports have come out that Mahomes' ankle's fine, and rest assured, guys, that ankle ain't fine. You can see him running around practice trying to show that it's fine. He's saying all the right things to the press that it's fine. I'm telling you, have you ever had a high ankle sprain?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
I have. It ain't healing in a week. And the ankle sprain he had ain't healing in a week. You can say all the right things you want. It ain't healing in a week. I'm telling you. Unless they shoot that boy up, he's going to be struggling. But it doesn't matter. Joe Burrows wins the national championship with LSU, gets hurt his rookie year, comes back the next year, takes him to the Super Bowl, and comes back in his second full year playing and takes him to another Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has got to worry about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow don't got to worry about Patrick Mahomes. As long as Jamar Chase and Boyd and Higgins stay together, Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a force to be dealt with, boys.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you there, B-Lang. Let's get to the hardwood college basketball. The Horns, they go to Knoxville tomorrow to play against a really good Tennessee team. How do you like this Tennessee team down the line, and what are the Horns supposed to expect tomorrow? I don't know what the line is.
If
I
they're-
didn't really see it.
Well, let's just see how good your memory is. Who'd your boy B. Lang give you last week in college basketball?
Last week was last week Iowa State or was that 2 weeks ago?
Yes, Iowa
That
State.
was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
No, that was 2 weeks ago.
Oh wait, you gave it was an ACC team.
There you go.
Was
There
it
you go, baby.
was it Miami against Duke?
There you go, baby.
There
There
it
you
is.
go, baby.
There it is.
+6, lost by 3.
Uh-huh.
So this week, if Texas is getting more than 5, I like them. I think they might just because of how good Texas has been at home. Texas reminds me a little bit of Kentucky, who went in there and beat them outright. I think Texas can hang, but I'm looking for some value there of 5 or more. The 2 games I'm going to give you is Wake Forest at home over NC State. Wake coming off a tough road loss at Pitt. They've been fantastic at home. Let's roll with Wake. Looking for Wake to be laying probably a 1.5, 2 number. Anything more than 3, don't like it. You should be able to get less than 3 with Wake. And then look for Creighton at home. Probably maybe getting a point or 2 from a Xavier team that just went into UConn and won outright. Now they're on the road again. Creighton could pull the upset. I can't see Creighton laying more than 3. I could see them getting 1, so somewhere in there. But look for Creighton to get it done. Creighton Wake Forest, little double teamer for you on Saturday.
Very nice. There he is, Brandon Lang. BrandonLang.com. Check out Believe Me with Cordell Stewart, and don't expect Brandon to be giving any speeches for Andy Reid anytime soon. Brandon, we appreciate it, brother. We will talk to you next week in the off week as we get ready for a Super Bowl.
You got it, boys.
All
See ya.
right.
Thanks, B. Lang. Well, you know how B. Lang feels about Kellen Moore.
Wow. How about that? How about that? He was channeling a lot of Cowboys fans' feelings, I think, on certain play calls in certain situations. By the way, there's a lot of things you can always pick out of a Brandon Lang interview when he's on the show. My favorite part was when he went into that rant about Jarrett Stidham. Did anybody else notice that he probably said his name 8 times, but he never said it right? He was so excited. I think he called him Josh once. I think he called him Jacob once. And he said Stidman 3 times. It was so good. Go back and listen once we post it. Brandon Lang was fired up about that one. And that is a game that blinks at a lot of people on this Niners defense. He's right to bring it up. It's one we brought up leading into the Cowboys game, that Jarrett Stidham was able to light that group up, and a lot of people thought maybe, just maybe, Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and those guys could find some success, but they couldn't find enough.
Yeah, Kellen Moore lost confidence in the run game. I mean, he already doesn't have much confidence in the run game at times, but when Tony Pollard got injured, those situations, 2nd and 2, and thinking about running the ball, he ain't thinking about it. With what Zeke is
Right.
bringing to the table, no Tony Pollard, that didn't even go through his mind. It's, okay, Dak could get us a dink and dunker, and we could keep on moving the chains and put us in better situations to score. But, yeah, I feel what B. Lang's saying, and to what you're saying, that's a lot of the frustration that Cowboy fans have with their offensive coordinator.
And by the way, he was staring at the example in that game, and he still missed it. Because on the other side of the ball, the best running back they had was hurt too. A little banged up. Christian McCaffrey dealing with calf stuff. What did Kyle Shanahan do? Did he just stop running the ball? No. He handed the ball to Mitchell.
Yeah.
In fact, my favorite play of that game, if I'm a Niners fan, was a 2nd and 7 when they were trying to kill clock. They just handed it to Mitchell. Blocked the crap out of the Cowboys. He got like 8.5 yards.
Yeah.
First down. It was impressive. That's what Kellen Moore doesn't see. He doesn't value a running game. He'll value a running back, but not a running game. Remember the game this year where we talked about Malik Davis? Came out of the game and was like, wait, Malik Davis had like 6 carries, but he averaged 7 a carry.
You're giving him the ball.
Why didn't you give? That was a game where I think Pollard either got banged up or didn't play.
Right.
Maybe they rested him or whatever it was. And Elliott actually was pretty good. And then Davis had 7 yards a carry, but they didn't give him more carries. But that's just kind of what Kellen Moore is. I would tell Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones, you guys need to I understand there's something about this kid you love. Let him go find it somewhere else. You need to find someone that aligns better with Dak and your offense, but more importantly, respects what your defense is. And
he
I
might be
don't
a
think
yes
that's
man
Kellen.
too. He
Kel-
might just be right. Yes, sir. No, sir. Okay, Jerry. He might just be one of those guys that there's a comfort and way you can just push him around, no pushback
Yeah.
that Kellen Moore brings to the table along with Big Mike.
So
You
you're
know-
saying we're back to the old problem of this is all just about whatever an 80-year-old man wants.
It's always going to be that problem to a certain extent.
Now, he's not the one calling those plays, is he?
No.
Okay. I hope not. I would make the move. We'll see if the Cowboys do that today or if by the end of business today we find out that they're going to re-rack it again with Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore. Dan Quinn announces yesterday he is staying. That's great news, I think, if you're a Cowboys fan. But if I'm Dan Quinn, the first thing I ask Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy before I say yes is, are you bringing him back?
Bringing back Kellen Moore?
Yes, I would ask it. Are you bringing him back? And if you are, we all have to have a serious talk with him because he doesn't respect my defense. He's not helping my defense out. If you guys agree that the most badass thing this team has is my defense, then you need an offensive coordinator that realizes it and calls plays off of it.
Do you think Danny Boy negotiated that?
I would have. If I was Dan Quinn,
Yo,
that's what
kudos if he did.
I would have threatened to take any of those other jobs. I would have said, we have unfinished business, but you got to get me some help on offense. You have got to get me and Dak some help. And Kellen's not providing it. Right or wrong, I'd make Kellen Moore the fall guy because you know you can't tell Jerry it's Dak, and you know you can't tell Jerry it's McCarthy. So
And-
it's got to be Kellen.
And when you see all the other guys take the bullets, like Leon Lett, and then the rest of those guys,
Quarterback,
It's
coach,
there has
line
to- yeah,
coach, everybody.
yeah, there has to be some type of comfort there for everybody coming back. Like you can't change too much.
See, now that's a point. Maybe they
You can't
yeah.
change too much to where you see Kellen Moore and you're like, at least him and Dak have a relationship. No matter what it is or what you think it is, at least there's comfort there where Dak could talk to him and feel some type of warmth due to the guy that he's been with for a while instead of going complete gun-ho and bringing in brand new everybody besides Big Mike and Dan Quinn.
That relationship is part of what bothers me. I don't want Dak to feel warmth from Kellen Moore. I want Dak to feel football from his offensive coordinator. That's what I want.
You think the Jets don't want that warmth from Coach Hackett and bringing in Aaron Rodgers? They want all the warmth. Like y'all's relationship is a big reason why you probably got that job, Nathaniel, because what you did in Denver, bogus. So you better do something because our quarterback situation in New York, thinking as a Jets guy, thinking as a Jets fan, is all mucked up. So unless if you could get that guy from Green Bay that got 4 MVPs, and we heard what Brandon Lang said about him. Who cares what you say about him? The guy could play some football. He can play some quarterback.
He's earned the right to, if you want to make him feel warm relationships, he's earned that right. Dak hadn't earned that right yet. I'm sorry, he hasn't. This is about football. This needs to be better football for Dak is what it needs to be. And they got to find a guy that can get him there. Is it Kellen Moore? They're going to let us know sometime today. Hopefully we get that report before we are off the air at 7. So keep it right here with us. And then Ball Don't Lie, picking it up at 3. Up next, we'll get you a little Flex 30 segment. The schedule's out there for you for high school basketball. We'll tell you some of the games that we're paying attention to. And Jeff Ketchum's coming up at 2:05 from orangebloods.com. He's a Cowboys fan. Does he want Kellen Moore back? He'll give us his thoughts there, and we'll talk some Longhorn stuff too as National Signing Day comes up. Going to close the door on the 23 group, and of course some changes with the receivers coach, A.D. Mitchell coming in, basketball, getting ready to play Tennessee. We'll get Ketch's thoughts on all of it. Stay with us. This is The Horn. All right, let's talk a little underdog fantasy. Easiest place to play fantasy sports, and I got my pick'em games all built up for the AFC and NFC championship games. I'm going lower on Joe Burrow for pass attempts because I think the Bengals are going to be able to run the ball. I'm going higher with Joe Mixon for rushing and receiving touchdowns. It's at 0.5, so that's just one touchdown of him anyway. Yeah, I like that. And I like Patrick Mahomes. Get this, higher than 0.5 interceptions. That's what I'm doing on the AFC game. NFC, George Kittle higher than 3.5 receptions. Robbie Gould higher than 1.5 field goals made. And A.J. Brown higher than 5 receptions. That's all you got to do. Figure out whether it's higher or lower for your players in the games for your chance to win big. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single playoff game. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build that pick'em entry. You can also make the rivals picks, which pits 2 players against each other for field goals or points or assists or whatever. Yeah, I said assist. If you're really into the NBA, go ahead and jump in there. I was looking at it last night on a pick'em game for Doncic. I'm glad I didn't go with certain Doncic numbers last night because of that injury. Got banged up a little bit at the end, but you can build pick'em games for NBA as well. So check it all out with Underdog. Sign up today with the promo code HORN. Get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with my promo code HORN to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Must be 18 or over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. It is the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. Check it out, Underdog Fantasy. It's a damn shame. That voice isn't a shame, but the theme of the song. Don't you hate that when that happens? You get so old and everybody wants to stay at home. Hank Jr., Bocephus himself. All my rowdy friends have settled down.
That's right.
God, when did this one come out? 80s?
I don't know.
I'm guessing somewhere in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s would make sense.
Probably in that 80s run for him.
That makes sense, yeah.
Hank Jr., the Bangles, Janet Jackson have all been a part of the show today. Also, in musical achievement news, I did finish Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. I got done with the album. Zay, I didn't even realize the end of that record that I had. I guess I had a remastered. It was just a bunch of like 4 versions of songs that were already there.
Yeah.
So I was just about done. I was literally only a track or two away from being done there. So I heard Tears yesterday, and then the whatever that 7 Chambers or whatever that next to the last song is, the 7th Chamber. That was good. 7th Chamber Part 2, really good stuff. And not that I needed another reason to respect RZA as a producer, but that the stuff he's putting together there, I'm interested to go hear some more of the stuff now. Now, when I get to you've told me to go listen to solo records, the records from the artist. So if I go listen to a Method Man album or
listen to Tycal next. Try to listen to them in order from how they went.
So I need to go next to a Method Man record.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Method Man 94 album, Tycal.
Okay.
That was the next Wu-Tang album. That's when RZA said, okay, we're going to make our next album as a whole in a few years, but I want to work on everybody's individual album.
Okay.
I'm going to get everybody individual deals so we can all get this money and not have to spread it out with Loud Records.
He's brilliant, man.
And
that's incredible.
Yeah, Def Jam obviously had the most resources out of anybody in rap. So they signed Method Man because Method Man was the ladies' man and the guy with the hugs. And Method Man's just a cool dude.
So then RZA is still the producer.
Yes, he's still the producer, all of Tycal, maybe except for one song, maybe 2. And it's that. Then you gotta listen to Old Dirty Bastards album, The Return of the 36 Chambers.
Okay.
Then you gotta listen to Raekwon's album featuring Ghostface Killah, Only Built for Cuban Links. That's my favorite Wu-Tang album.
Only Built for what?
Cuban Links.
Okay.
Yeah. Fire.
Referencing the chain. Is that a chain reference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like a mob vibe.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, because that set the tone for like mafioso rap.
Okay.
Like that's when everybody was like, oh, you could like Al Capone and Scarface and put it in your raps. Like nobody was doing that before Raekwon and Ghostface Killah. So that album was legendary.
Okay.
And then the most underrated, but a lot of people say it's the best, GZA's album, Liquid Swords.
That's a great name.
That's
okay.
A lot of people like Wu-Tang fans, even not Wu-Tang fans, they say that's the best. It doesn't get the most love like Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard and Raekwon's album, but Liquid Swords, GZA might be the best rapper in the group.
Wow. Okay.
As a whole.
All right.
And he says a lot of stuff that's over your head, so that might be a 1-2 time listen.
Okay, I'll check it out. We'll stop right there. I got homework. I got 4 albums.
Yeah, that's it. And there's more. There's more than that.
Yeah. No, I'll mix it in. I'll mix that up as I'm studying for these concerts I've got coming up. I'll get a little bit of Stevie Nicks and some Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
I'll get a little bit of Billy Joel and some Wu-Tang. We'll just go back and forth.
Yeah. People say that those 5 albums, because you got to stop at 4, but Ghostface Killah drops Iron Man in 96. People say that those 5 albums.
Hang on, all right.
Yeah.
I got to write that down.
Yeah, those 5 albums together, they say that's just Wu-Tang royalty.
Okay. And since I am a superhero guy, I'll write Iron Man down. Okay. And Ghostface Killah is my favorite name in the group. Okay. So, thanks to somehow Hank Jr. just got us into a Wu-Tang conversation. I don't know why that reminded me of it. It's all music, man. Find yourself some music you love. Hank Jr., the Bangles, Janet Jackson, all on the show so far. Always interested to hear what Zay is going to bring us, and he's also bringing us Where We At in Society coming up at 1:45. Right now, let's get you a quick Flex 30 segment. We'll talk a little local hoops. Here we go.
Flex ATX for the best high school sports coverage. Listen to The Horn and go to FLXATX.com. Flex 30 is brought to you by Brain Vault. Brain Vault is a revolutionary and patented mouthguard that has been proven to help reduce the risk of concussion. Visit brainvault.com and join the movement.
All right, FLXATX.com for that full Friday schedule of boys and girls basketball. I'm going to try to get over and check out a little bit of this Manor New Tech team. They are pretty high on the Flex rankings. We've talked about them a little bit. 23-6, 6-1 in district. They're in a district out there, Zay, with LaGrange, Caldwell, Smithville, out east of everything over there. So their loss is at LaGrange. They're 6-1 in district. The last time they played Austin Achieve, they won 77-65. They're getting the rematch tonight at home. Leading scorer Darius Stewart averaging 15 a game. Jaden Stiggers, the sophomores, averaging 13 a game. I'm also interested in checking out Isaiah Kennard, a freshman that apparently is doing some good things for Manor New Tech out there. Also, they have I believe it's their center, Houston Ifa, 9 points and 10 rebounds a game, too.
Damn.
And I'm interested to see if he plays, too, because in terms of the number of games played, it's less than some of the others, so I don't know if there might have been an injury situation there. So looking forward to checking out Manor New Tech tonight. Comey Harris is another guy that's supposed to be really good for them. So shout out to Manor New Tech. Titans, I'm going to try to come out and see you tonight. That is at the New Tech Gym. One of the other big games we talked about this week, Zay, is that Stony Point at Round Rock game. They're 7 o'clock tonight at Dragon Gym. If you guys didn't catch our interview with Antoine Thompson, the head coach at Stony Point, that's at hornfm.com. It's also at flxatx.com if you want to check out the interview. Zay, when he was on with us, he talked about Josiah Mosley. You asked about him, their best player. He told a great personal kind of side of it where Josiah is coming out to his son's basketball games.
Yeah.
So really keeping up with things on the personal level. That was cool to hear. Take me to the basketball level, though. You've seen him live. What will people see if they go to Round Rock tonight out of Mosley?
A very skilled, even though he looks undersized at 6'6". I mean, when you're undersized, when you're 6'6" in high school, you're always big.
Yeah.
But when he goes off to the next level, he will be undersized, and he's gonna be off to the next level. He's getting looks at from Iowa State and a couple of Power 6 schools. They're starting to come in. I know North Texas wants some, UTSA, UTA, UT Arlington. So we heard Coach Thompson on our show a few days ago, Chad. I didn't know this. He's 6'7", 6'6", with a 6'10" wingspan. That's why he plays a lot bigger than he is and looks a lot bigger than he is on the court. So he might not jump out the gym, but he just has this Zach Randolph approach to him. You know, he's just great with his feet. His footwork's nice. He has great hands. He's a good passer. He's an unselfish player. And, you know, if you talk to Antoine and some guys on that coaching staff, sometimes they want to bring the dog out of him. Like sometimes they want him to go for 30 and 15. And I don't think that's his nature, especially he's still an underclassman. He's only a junior. So there's guys.
Class of 24.
Yeah, he's class of 24. So
yeah.
there's guys on the squad that have been lettermen for a while. So, you know, sometimes you don't want to step on other guys' shoes or toes because you don't know if you're the man. I think if they get that out of him, they're going to be even tougher to stop. But him and Tiki Moran and Uriah Button, all those guys that complement Josiah Mosley very well. And he's going to do really good on the next level. Obviously, everybody, but, you know, him especially, he's going to have to bulk up a little bit, maybe get some of that baby fat off. But he already has a very good body, uses it well. And, yeah, he's tough to stop in the post and on the outside.
23-1 overall. Stony Point is 8-0 in district. They'll try to stay undefeated tonight in district. Stony Point at Round Rock. 7 o'clock, Dragon Gym. If you want to head out there, feel free. But also, if you want to find another game, go to flxatx.com. Boys schedule, girls schedule.
Excuse me, Chad. Let me answer somebody's question on the Specs text line. Somebody said, excuse my ignorance. You're not ignorant for this question. What's a Power 6 school? Well, we know in football, there's 5 big conferences, Power 5, Big 12, SEC, Big 10, Pac-12, and the ACC. Well, in basketball, there's 6 conferences, the 5 I just named, and the Big East.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by Power 6 schools, and then everybody else are considered mid-majors. Even Gonzaga, those are mid-major schools that don't have the same resources as all the Power 6 schools I named. So that's where I got it from. I've heard Craig Way say it a lot of times. I really got it from Craig, Fran Francilla, the guys like that have passed the game along to youngsters like myself. But yeah, that's what I mean when I say Power 6
Yeah,
conferences.
it's really kind of that respect from back in the day when I was growing up, when the Big East was even more Big East than it is right now. It's given that respect through time to say, no, you got to have them in too.
Yeah, because the Big East has been shooken up a lot. Like,
it's been
UConn
weird.
wasn't in there for a while. They were in the ACC, and it's still not right that Syracuse isn't in there.
No, it is still messed up to me when I look at it, but it's just they're given that respect in the world of basketball because they had it back in the day.
Yeah.
Because when I was growing up, if Georgetown and St. John's were going to play a basketball game, your world stopped.
Oh, I'm serious.
No matter where you lived. If Chris Mullen and Patrick Ewing were about to play basketball against each other, well, stop. We got plans. I got to watch. Let's go.
Sleepy Floyd versus Mark Jackson. Oh boy, I wish I was alive for them.
That was some serious basketball back then. All right, Flex segment every day at 1:30. Up next, it's Where We At in Society with Zay. Then Jeff Ketchum of Orange Bloods at 2. Stay with us. It is a Friday, keeping you updated on all the NFL stuff. Dan Quinn is back. Cowboys fans, do you want Kellen Moore back? Plus, if you're a Texans fan, looks like that DeMeco Ryans thing is getting closer as long as nobody messes it up. This is The Horn. I love this first lyric so much. Oh, dude, it's so good. I forgot we had a little saxophone.
Yeah, there's a
to
little
lead us
build
in.
up.
So this is Billy Ocean, Caribbean Queen. He ruled the show for a little while. Here it comes, I think. Oh, come. Oh, yeah. So you did get the slow build.
Yeah.
Here it is. Oh, my God. Painted on jeans. Come on, Billy. He's great. Billy Ocean, the song from a couple of movies back in the time. He was on soundtracks, man. Just that smooth Caribbean vibe. That's the best way to say it. This song was called Caribbean Queen, but I don't know. Every time I heard Billy Ocean, I thought it just felt like you should be drinking a fancy drink on a vacation or something. He was just so smooth.
This sounds like it would rock the cruise ship club.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yes. That feel.
Yeah.
Find me a drink with some hard liquor and pineapple juice
Yeah,
in
some
it.
pineapple in it
Right
for real.
now. Bring it to me. Billy Ocean, Hank Jr., the Bangles, and Janet Jackson today. Come on, baby. No more love on the run. Come on now. All right. We are rolling through Friday. A lot of NFL notes out there. Texans fans, that DeMeco Ryans thing looks like it may be happening as long as nothing messes up. Obviously, you still got to coach the Niners defense, but looks like that may be headed towards DeMeco Ryans. Cowboys fans, you found out that Dan Quinn is coming back yesterday. Today is the day they talked to Kellen Moore. Will he be coming back? Don't know. Also, thank you to Chris Bennett, who just sent us a great tweet with a video in it. Chris Jones of the Chiefs doing a press conference, ended the press conference with, "We'll see y'all at Burrowhead Stadium." Now,
yes, sir.
Now, Zay, he said it as he walked off, and he had just said, "We're just trying to eliminate distractions." And he starts to walk off and said, "We'll see you at Burrowhead Stadium." So he's obviously heard it. They've heard it. They're pissed about it. Can the defensive front get to Burrow, or will Burrow be the show? And he gets to stand there with a cigar afterwards and say, "Man, it's great to play at Burrowhead Stadium."
Yeah, because everybody talks about this record for Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes ain't making them tackles. Andy Reid, he ain't going out there making them tackles.
Yeah, they did it to Jones, too.
They did it to Christian Jones, or Chris Jones, who has 15 and a half sacks, around 16 sacks. He needs to get after the quarterback, and he has not been able to do that to where it's affected the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow, and that's why you got that record that I just said. So, yeah, he hears the noise, and I love that. Anything that makes this matchup more spicier, bring it on. And the fact that Chris Jones went out of that press conference saying, "See y'all at Burrowhead Stadium,"
it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's what you want on Sunday. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, all y'all can keep telling me bulletin board material doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, it do.
I'm going to keep saying you're wrong. I love it, and it's a big part of sports sometimes. All right, so we'll continue to talk NFL. Let's get into where we at in society and see what Zay's got for us today.
Where are we at in society today?
All right, Zay, do I need to check Twitter? You know I do it so often.
Yeah, check Twitter. Twitter. You know,
right.
I feel like this was a topic for where we at one point, but there's more to it than what happened whenever I talked about it or brought it up.
Okay.
Former Florida quarterback commit Marcus Stokes, who had a scholarship, but it was revoked because he dropped the N-bomb in a video. You remember he was like rapping in a video?
Yeah.
Like, with my homies and my... can't say that, Marcus. You got to understand the situation.
But for the record, he was singing along with the song?
He was singing along.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't
Gotcha.
like he was just out there throwing the world out wildly.
Gotcha.
So that happened. Ironically, he just got offered a scholarship at Albany State, which is a HBCU.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is an interesting story. So the N-bomb gets kicked out of Florida or gets a scholarship taken away, but gets a scholarship offer from a historic black college.
So you're telling me that somebody might have wanted to have an extended conversation with the young man, find out about him, find out what was really in his heart. find out what was in his soul.
Yeah.
Maybe find out if he knew every single lyric to the rest of that song.
Because that's the thing. Like, it doesn't bother me much. As a brother, it doesn't bother me much because I know he's just rapping along the song. It was just an ignorant moment. It wasn't, he ain't no racist. I don't think Marcus is a racist by any means, not even close.
And I forget this part of the story. Was it something that did he know he was being videoed? Was it
he was filming himself. It was one of those selfie videos that people like to do, riding in the car, stunting.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I see it now. Okay. Yeah. I remember the video now. So, yeah, I mean, that's obviously in the social media age, not advisable, but I remember thinking it at the time, like, I don't know. I don't know that kid. I don't know what he's like. I don't know who his friends are. I don't know what music he listens to normally. Is that a song he's really familiar with? Is that a song he sings all the time? I don't know. But obviously somebody wanted to find out. Maybe he was able to convince them, hey, man, that's not me. If you guys will give me a chance, I'll come play. Let's go.
Since we've been on that 36 Chambers, I would have offered him a scholarship, too, if he was jamming that Old Dirty Bastard. Shame on a brother trying to run game on a brother. And you know what he says instead of brother. I'd be like, yo, Marcus, you could be on my team any day. Now simmer down. You got to understand when and where to do those things. But, hey, come along. You can sling that football, too. Why not? Man, I thought Florida was a little... just revoking the scholarship, that's a bit much.
Thought it was a little hasty?
Yeah, let's talk to the kid. I know we're in 2023. We had the whole George Floyd thing that happened, all that. I get all that's going on, and we're very sensitive to everything. But still, let's look at the situation. He was rapping.
Right. Yeah.
Rapping lyrics. Just the ignorant situation. It happened.
And you know me, as a music snob, my first question is just going to be, did he get the lyric correct? Did it work into the flow of the song? And does he know the whole song and the whole album? Does he know about that artist? Is he into that music? That's different. That's a little bit different. If there's some white person walking around the concert like that country singer a few years ago, not the country singer, another kid from Florida, that receiver that was at the Eagles, Riley Cooper.
Right? Oh, yeah.
That dude was walking around a country concert, and said the word as in referencing, hey, we're all, whatever, referencing a group of people. That's a little different.
Very different.
Than if you happen to be recording a white guy that was singing along with a song. Well, does he know the song? Is he really into the song? That's a little bit of a different discussion. So if he tells you, like, no, man, I love NWA. I love that record, and here's what it is. Or I love Wu-Tang. Or I love whatever it is. I don't remember what song he was singing. But, a little different.
Yeah. I'd be offended if he was jamming some Will Smith. As clean as Will Smith was, I'd be like, yo, coach. I'm offensive coordinator. Like, coach, I don't know if this guy has that dog in him that we need.
Oh, that's tough.
Jamming Will. And it wasn't summertime either.
Okay. I'm just getting the temperature for it. What about Young MC?
Young MC.
What about Young MC? Would you
be a rapper?
Now, come on. You may have answered my question. Bust a move. Young MC.
Oh, wow.
I'm just asking you if you're exactly. I'm asking you if you had a big prospect coming in. You know what? Arch Manning. What if Arch Manning was on a video and you're like, oh, hey, check out Arch, he's rapping, and you turned it on and he said, you're dressed in yellow. He said, hello.
Wouldn't like it.
No?
I wouldn't like it. Yo, Arch, you from the boot, dog. You from New Orleans, bro. I need some Master P. I need some big timers, Lil Wayne, Lil Boosie. I know Arch got that on the playlist.
I just wanted to know where Young MC was on the
Arch, especially being from New Orleans,
stack.
He better have some Cash Money in that playlist.
Okay.
Please believe me.
Fair enough. All right, there you go. Best of luck to Marcus Stokes at Albany State. That'll be an interesting story to follow. Somebody needs to keep up with that too. That's going to be a really interesting discussion to have.
It is.
To get an opportunity is one thing. For him to go to a historically black college like that and be the quarterback, there's going to be so many interesting stories come out of that, and you hope that the young man and his teammates are all going to grow from it and learn from it, because
I really don't think it's that big of a deal. You just got to let him know, hey, you probably shouldn't do that. That's it. He shouldn't have had his scholarship revoked. That's completely bogus. But now he's probably looking at, with our conversation yesterday with Ed Reed on Bethune-Cookman, he's probably looking at Florida and Albany State like, I don't know if I can do that myself.
He's checking out the facilities.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Florida and Albany State, a little difference there.
He'll be saying some other words he shouldn't be saying on videos.
Yeah, maybe
that's
some
true.
four-letter words that he shouldn't
right.
be saying.
Exactly. All right, there's where we at in society. Marcus Stokes, again, is that kid's name if you want to follow that story, at Albany State. And if you want to follow what Zay's doing on Twitter, at @ain't_that_Zay. I'm at C Hastings 1049. The station is at The Horn ATX. Up next, Jeff Ketchum of OrangeBloods.com talking Cowboys, Longhorns, and some other stuff as we roll towards the NFL championship games. Who's picking to go to Super Bowl 57? We'll get to that next on The Horn. Like the sound of this beat. Hour number 3 on a Friday. We hope you are doing well, getting ready for the NFL championship games. Who's going to be in Super Bowl 57? We've been giving you reports throughout the day on those games. Chris Jones referencing Burrowhead Stadium. You know they've heard it, and now we know they're mad about it. Throwing that out of the media availability. That's pretty cool. The line on that game is Kansas City by 1. It is still Philly by 2.5. At this point, both of those lines have kind of frozen in the last day or so as we get ready for the championship games. Patrick Mahomes' high ankle sprain, obviously the biggest focus of that game. How is he going to look early on in that ball game? Texas at Tennessee, a lot of other stuff on the board that we will get to. Hour number 3 always starts with a beat, specially chosen for all of you by Zay. Zay, what we got here?
This is what Arch Manning should be listening to.
Uh-huh.
Manny Fresh Beat, Cash Money, the Hot Boys, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, BG, and Turk.
My God.
Legends in New Orleans.
If I just say Lil Wayne, is that enough?
Yeah.
Lil Wayne beat?
Wow.
Wow.
That would be enough. But you got to give everybody they love to.
I'm sorry. Roll it out for me again. Lil Wayne, who else?
Lil Wayne,
Turk.
BG, Juvenile,
and Juvenile.
Manny Fresh on the production.
Gotcha. I've always wondered on names like that. At what point does Juvenile have to consider a name change? Like when Lil Bow Wow was Lil Bow Wow, eventually he had to think about, do I change that? So is Juvenile forever?
Yeah.
Okay. Because even though you're old, you can be Juvenile.
Right.
So
but everybody just calls him Juvie. So when you say you jamming that Juvie, I used to jam Juvie. You should know what they're talking about.
Juvie.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. There you go.
Yeah.
Plus, if you say juvie, you get that juvenile hall kind of reference. It seems a little tougher, right?
Right, exactly.
Because then you're juvenile and you go to juvie. All right. So, got a great beat to start hour number 3. Chad and Zay with you on this Friday. Zay, are we...
Nah, I can't reach Catch. Call him 3 times. He ain't answering.
We are unable to connect with Jeff Ketchum of OrangeBloods.com. All right, so we're not going to be able to get his thoughts maybe on Cowboys and Longhorns and some other stuff. We will get to plenty of football here, though, as we talk about it. Now, how about this? I will not reveal any sources, but I just got a text on the old personal text line. You ready for this, Zay? I think you can probably tell me the name here. It says, just left Lake Belton High School. Jimbo and Nick Saban are both there.
Justin Wells.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. You could probably tell me the name of the player we're talking about here. This is I can't remember. It's Micah something, right? It's the receiver.
Ah, yes.
Micah, whatever. It was not Justin Wells, by the way.
Okay, just guessing.
But I did, so apparently there's some school visits going on today. Micah, what's his name? I'll get it for the folks. But that is one of the big dogs in the, and I'm going to have to double check which class that is. I think, is this still, hang on. Hudson, there it is, Micah Hudson, and he is class of 24. This is next year. So not something everybody is going to be, signed, sealed, delivered on this next week, but just to keep it in mind, one of the badass receivers in the area, Micah Hudson, apparently getting some SEC visits today.
Yeah, look at that list right now. Bama's at the top.
Yeah.
Arkansas, Arizona State, Baylor, Auburn. I get the Baylor. That makes a lot of sense. That's right up the street.
Yeah. So if you want to check that name out, Micah Hudson is that name. So thank you to the insider sources letting me know that some big coaches are taking a look at the Lake Belton product today. If you're just jumping in, there's a lot of NFL stuff going on today. We started with the Cowboys discussion because Dan Quinn is coming back. It's been officially announced because he let everybody know yesterday, hey, I did the interviews, but we have unfinished business in Dallas, so he is coming back. And as of right now, Zay, I have still not seen anything on Kellen Moore. We're obviously sitting here just after 2 o'clock. I'm guessing by the end of today, maybe we know. Cowboys fans going to go into the weekend knowing whether or not it's Kellen Moore?
Yeah, and what you said earlier, Chad, is sticking with me. Did Dan Quinn give Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and Big Mike an ultimatum? Like, if I come back, that guy on the other side, the offensive coordinator, because they've basically cleaned house with everyone else besides those four. And we know Kellen Moore's his job's still hanging in the air, but did he give him the ultimatum? If I come back and that guy's still over there, he better be gone.
Yeah, and that's me. That is me with my fan perspective on it. Dan Quinn, if Dan Quinn and I sat down in a restaurant and I said, "Hey man, what do you think of just the whole thing, the whole vibe of everybody?" And he could tell me, "I love it. I love it. I dig Kellen's offense. I like Dak. I think we just need to tweak a couple things up. We just need to, finish it. We had some injuries last year." Is that what he would tell me? Or deep down would he say like, "Hey, I gotta have an OC that understands what I've got a little bit more." Because when I watched Micah Parsons say what he said after that last game, everybody else was thinking he was ripping Dak. That's not what I thought. I didn't think 11 was getting on Dak.
Yeah, Dak just played that bad. It makes you think that way.
Right. I thought 11 was speaking for his defense. I thought he was trying to champion his defensive coordinator, and he was just trying to say the other two parts of this thing, but specifically the offensive part, it wasn't good enough. I don't think he was saying Dak wasn't good enough. The offense could not find. We as a team needed to find 20 points, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and we got the field goals. Our field goal kicker that was screwing up in the last game actually got us those field goals, and we could only find 1 touchdown, and then he did miss the extra point. But that's a whole other thing. Basically found 13 points in a perfect world, could not find that other touchdown. So Micah Parsons, I think, is saying, hey, it was that close in a way, but he also knows that in a way it felt a long way away. So how do you tweak up that offense? There are those that want to blame Dak and say he will always be inaccurate. It's never going to get fixed. There are those that say it is Kellen Moore. There are those that think it's Mike McCarthy. And there are even more of those that think it's about the tip top and Jerry Jones, and it just trickles down from there. So whichever camp you're in today, that's what you have to figure out. But there's only one part of that that's sort of still up in the air today. And that's why we bring up Kellen Moore, because they're going to talk to him today.
And I think it's just a little bit of all the above, from Kellen Moore not being spicy with his playbook or not calling the right plays at the right time, to Dak Prescott throwing turnovers, just being very inaccurate, his decision-making being trash, not running at times where he should, not trusting that leg, which I still think that's going to be an issue. He just won't be the same quarterback that he once was before his leg got turned around.
Oh, you're saying it goes all the way back
yeah,
to
yeah, absolutely that.
Yeah.
And then 3, the talent around Dak. Go look at the last few champions that we've seen. Tom Brady. Say what you want about Antonio Brown. He was the 3rd wide receiver on that team. You're a Bucs fan.
Oh, yeah.
Antonio Brown's crazy ass was number 3.
Yeah.
If he didn't go crazy and completely disrespect Roger Goodell in the NFL, he'd be in Canton. No questions asked. We wouldn't even be talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
With him and the ring and the statistics that he had with the Steelers. You watched Antonio Brown his whole career with your wife, and then when he went to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
That was his number 3 receiver, along with Chris Godwin, along with Mike Evans. This past year, Matt Stafford had Odell Beckham Jr., which I know he's lost a step, especially with his injuries, but he was really good last year. And the best receiver in the NFL last season in Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm.
And McVay was dealing, last year he was good. And then the defense, Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, they were stacked everywhere. Can you say that about Dallas?
No.
You can't. As good as Tony Pollard was, as nice as Dalton Schultz is, I love the tight ends, Ferguson, Hendershot. Those guys are good. I wish they were used more, especially because Dak likes his tight ends. You hear Mike Harge in the promos, especially in that play action, like Kellen Moore, get them in that. But you got to have the Jimmies and the Joes. It's not always the X's and the O's. Very cliche saying, but it's true. And CeeDee Lamb, as good as he was this year, needed help. Like Michael Gallup, nah, bruh. Noah Brown, nah, dog. T.Y. Hilton, it's cute, but
T.Y.
nah.
Hilton. Yeah,
nah,
that's
bruh.
what's left of T.Y. Hilton right
Nah, bruh, that ain't gonna work. So as bad as Dak is, you can't look at that squad and say, we love some Joe Burrow, but T. Higgins, a dog. Tyler Boyd is nice with it.
Yeah,
Jamar Chase might be the best receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, that's why earlier when Brandon Lang was on with us and picked the Bengals, he likes them to win the game outright. He'd tell you to pick them plus the points, all that. But he named all three of those guys when he said if Burrow and he named all three of them. And that's not what you do with the Cowboys. Nobody's going to say, man, if Dak and boom, boom, boom can stay together and name three receivers, there's no way you're doing that right now.
It.
So the one guy the Cowboys have that a defense is really trying to account for pre-snap is CD, right? It's 88.
Yeah.
And then when he's healthy is Tony Pollard? Do you have to really account for Tony Pollard if you're the defense? Is he a weapon on that level?
Yeah, in a way. I mean,
Kinda.
Yeah, he had a good season.
So,
but he's just a running back. Like, he's replaceable.
To me, it's about, I mean, you can do it two different ways, obviously. You can just throw a ton of talent at people, or you can scheme the heck out of it, or you can do both. Right now, I would argue the Niners are doing both. They scheme really, really well, and they've got these guys where it's like, oh my God, is that Deebo Samuel in the slot? Yeah. Is that Deebo Samuel in the backfield? Yeah, it is. He's everywhere. And so is Christian McCaffrey. And Kittle is maybe the best tight end in football if it's not that other guy.
We don't even talk about Kyle Juszczyk, and he makes the Pro Bowl, his first team all NFL for fullbacks every season.
But that's the brilliance of what Belichick was doing, and you give Josh McDaniels credit back then and some of the other guys, heck, Bill O'Brien for a little while, the way the Patriots would scheme it up with Brady, and they'd make you worry about guys you didn't think you needed to worry about. That's the scheme part of it. And then you take talent like you've been talking about, the weapons that Kansas City has, the weapons that Cincinnati has, and all that. There's a couple different ways to do it. It's like Kellen Moore to me, sometimes it's like he's calling plays like he's got the best two running backs in the league, the best offensive linemen in the league, and the best receivers, best tight ends. He calls it like he's got the best of the best, and it doesn't even matter if the defense knows the play. That's kind of how he calls offense to me. And it gets boring, and it gets people have been texting us the word predictable the whole show today.
Yeah.
It's a predictable form of offense.
Oh, him and Steve Sarkisian are very similar in that approach.
They are. Yeah, it's so weird because those are the two monsters we cover, but they do both have some of the similar tendencies. So that's where I would tell we've talked about the Dan Quinn side. Here's the Kellen Moore side. I would tell him, if this is really the way you see football, why do you want to hang out with Dak Prescott?
For sure. Yeah.
Why is that your guy, right? Dak's a little more of a workman quarterback, a little more of a blue-collar quarterback, a little more of a, we'll bash our head against a wall to get it done, but we'll get it done. Kellen Moore wants pretty offense. He wants pretty chunk it around offense. You got to go find that somewhere else, Kellen. That's not what Dak is. That's what frustrates me as a Cowboys fan. If you go 100% balls out for what Dak is and what this defense is, and you still lose, I'll live and die with you forever.
Yeah, he also calls like he's afraid that Dak's going to break his leg again. Or that just Dak, which I don't think he is the same since that injury, but Kellen Moore, like he calls plays like that. Like he knows he's not even the same, even though we've seen Dak, especially in that Tampa Bay game. He could use his legs if need be. Like that fourth down call Tampa Bay game on that bootleg.
I know, brilliant.
Yeah, I know it wasn't no Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields type stuff, but just a little bit.
Yeah, that was that moment.
Just
like with Sarkisian. He'll give you those moments, that one or two play combo, and then it's gone.
You're just like, keep it up.
Then
let's keep it up.
And it goes away.
We got 60 minutes. Keep doing it.
Dude, I wish I could replay the sound I made when I realized Dak was bootlegging out there. I just kept screaming, yes, yes, yes. I was like Akeem in Coming to America, screaming in the middle of the night, yes,
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 yes. It was so good. That's the kind of stuff that he needs to be able to do, and it just he'll get away from it a little bit too much. So we'll see. But Jerry is the master of staying with what's there, staying with the guys. If he believes in them, Jerry falls in love, and then he sticks with it. Real quick to this.
Just so contradicting with his mentality of like, we got to win now.
Yeah.
We got to win now.
But again, you remember the one thing that Jerry seems to be too. It's we got to win now, but he always thinks they're close. He always believes that they're close because he could make the argument of, man, Zay, all we needed was one more touchdown. We're one touchdown away. We're one win away. They didn't even win the division this year, but they could somehow make the argument of how close they were. Remember how everybody told you the Cowboys were close on the Dez Bryant play with the Packers? That's ignoring the fact that they had to win another game on the road and then go to the Super Bowl. Nobody ever talks about that part of it. Oh, they were so close. Really? Were they?
Yeah.
That's the biggest flaw to me for Jerry. He still sees it as really, really close. And I would tell him he's not. I don't think they're close.
In the way they are, but in the way, yeah, you're right. They're not close at all. Like if you see CeeDee Lamb go for over 100 yards and have 10 catches, and then the next man does basically nothing. Like Dalton Schultz had 5 catches,
right,
10 attempts, and that was due to Dak's inaccuracy and just how he's been playing the whole game. And you look at what B. Lang talked about with San Fran, and their secondary isn't as good as what everybody says it is.
Right.
It's just like, dog, we're right there.
They were there to be had.
Where's that? But
right.
Who's that next step? Like, is it getting rid of Kellen Moore or is it adding more pieces like we see with these other 4 teams that are left to give Dak more help?
Yeah.
And not thinking that I have an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback that can make all the throws like Big Mike and Kellen Moore be thinking.
I would say it to Jerry and Steven and McCarthy and anybody that would listen. Jerry, you sat and waited because you thought Tony Romo, directed by Jason Garrett, was the way. And you found out you were wrong. You waited too long.
Well, you hear Tony Romo on CBS, man, that charm. It's infectious.
No, I get it.
Dak has a lot of that charm, too. Like, you see him in the Albertson commercials and flipping tables on the cable commercials. You see him on TV all the time. They both have that charm that I think just gets Jerry.
I agree. The problem is it's the charm of that OC that gets him that bothers me. He got enamored with Garrett for too long, and now if he gets enamored with Kellen Moore and just stays with it, oh, man, I think they're headed down the same path. That's the change you got to make.
Did Kellen Moore ever take any snaps for the Cowboys during his playing days?
In like a regular season game.
Was he like ever a backup clipboard guy?
Oh, he's definitely a backup. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Now, I can't remember if I ever saw him play in anything other than a regular season. I mean, other than a preseason game.
Yeah, that's not good.
I don't know if he took regular season snaps.
That's not good because that's that loyalty that Jerry, he's a Cowboys guy.
Right, he is. Yeah, he was a Cowboys guy. He was one of my he was a backup guy. Yeah. And you could tell. That's what scared me about making him the offensive coordinator. You could watch Kellen Moore for 4 seconds and know he wasn't going to be an NFL quarterback. I mean, it took.
Oh, yeah.
It was that long.
Yeah.
It was that long. It was like raw Cooper Rush, but worse.
Yeah, that trickery stuff that you were doing at Boise State, you can't do that in the National Football League, Kellen.
Terrible. It was awful. So, yeah, I would tell the Cowboys it's so close but so far away, and you got to move. This is the time to do it. We'll see if they're ready to because you can't continue. Dak is 28. What is it, 28, 29? Oldest quarterback that was left in the round of 8. These guys are not getting – they're young dudes. He was the oldest guy of those 8.
Ooh.
I believe that is true. Count them all up. Double check me. I believe that 28 or 29, whatever he is, he was the oldest one. Clock is ticking. How much more of Dak's career do you want to waste, Jerry? How much? If he's your guy, he's your guy. You got to maximize that. So if you really do believe Mike McCarthy's the guy, then you've got to think about this Kellen Moore thing. Coming up, let's go why today matters. I still have not commented on Jerry's mouth evoking a name he should never, ever talk about. We got to get into that. Why today matters. Plus, we got a couple of birthdays we got to hit. A couple legendary sports birthdays, which will bring up a question. Name that broadcaster that you just can't stand. Or your significant other just can't stand. One of those guys on the list has a birthday today. We'll tell you who he is coming up on The Horn. All right, let's talk a little Twin Peaks. Maybe ask them if they've got hot cat tequila over there. I know they've got all kinds of good drinks for you. The 29-degree draft brews. How about the bourbon and brews? They do that each and every Friday, 5 to 7. They got it going today for you. Lingerie costume party paired up with the exceptional bourbons, tastings, and giveaways. And then make your plans to get back on Sunday, 2 o'clock for that NFC title game. It's AFC after that, about 5:30 or so. Get on out to your favorite lodge location and get that great Twin Peaks treatment. Go have some of the great scratch-made food and check out the championship games as we find out who's going to go to Super Bowl 57. Now, if you're too busy to get out or maybe you need to have plans at the house, remember Twin Peaks has that kitchen bursting with made-from-scratch eats ready to go for you to order online and enjoy at home. So when you go to TwinPeaksRestaurant.com, go /locations, find the location, and you can order online as well. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views, Stastny, San Marcos, and Round Rock, TwinPeaksRestaurant.com. All right, here we go. Chad and Zay on a Friday. I'm just not going to think. I'm going to react.
Ooh, bop.
This is En Vogue.
That's right.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, thank goodness. How many in this band? In this group? 4?
4, yeah.
And I don't recall any of them being even kind of normal looking. Like I remember
they
them
look so good.
all being good
Oh,
looking.
they look so good.
Man, yeah. Everybody could sing. Everybody had the look. I can still see this video. They all looked amazing. And by the way, the pretty people rule dictates a lot of things. Here's another one. When you're singing a song like this, the prettier you are, the more effective it is.
Yeah.
Y'all can all act like that's not real, but it is. You're never going to get it. Not this time. Four women standing up there looking average, 4 5s, can't do that.
Nah.
These 4, woo, you felt it when they were singing at you. You're like, you are correct. I am never going to get that. I am never going to get it. En Vogue, Billy Ocean, Hank Jr., the Bangles, and Janet Jackson. A lot of good stuff today from Zay, as always. It is a Friday, big sports weekend, obviously. Let's set up a couple things, and then we'll get into why today matters. Longhorn basketball tomorrow at Tennessee. Can they go get Rick Barnes again? Got him last year, just barely, last second. That was a great game to watch. Let's see what it is when it's Coach Terry against Coach Barnes. By the way, on a personal level, man-to-man, I can only imagine what kind of smart-ass thing's going to come out of Rick Barnes' mouth to Rodney Terry about Chris Beard about 5 minutes before that game starts, or 20 minutes before that game starts. I'm sorry. Rick Barnes is one of my favorite sarcastic people on the planet. There's no way.
He does have a dry humor about him.
There's no chance he won't reference Beard in some way. And he may do like the baseball, cover his mouth to do it, but
Yeah.
he'll say something. There's no way he's going to be able to avoid that. But Texas and Tennessee, 5 o'clock tomorrow. By the way, there is a story getting out today. Chris Beard's house is up for sale. It is on the market now.
The Terrytown house?
Uh-huh. On the market as of today.
What does the realtor say when they're trying to sell that thing? Yeah, the old coach, got into an altercation here, but hey, it's still a beautiful house.
I just
Look at these windows.
Now you just you lean into all the positives and you say this is a house that a Texas coach lived in.
Okay.
You don't even have to. I mean, if they want specifics, you give them specifics, but that tells me all I need to know, really.
Yeah.
Right? It's a nice enough house that a Texas coach lived here.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
The glasses fell over there. I'm sorry.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry. He's gone. I've been holding in so many jokes just because I want to be professional.
Too soon.
It is brutal.
Too soon.
I had to throw that.
Too soon, Zay. Too soon. Now, I'm sure Longhorn fans are enjoying that on some level.
Damn it, Chris.
Hey, man, the way this basketball team's been playing, it was exactly the formula you needed if all that was going to go down. Coach Terry and this team have really picked it up and played well. And now let's see, because they're headed into that part of the schedule that Zay's been talking about for a while now. At Tennessee, home against Baylor, who's woken up in the conference. And then you go on a tour of the state of Kansas. Octagon of Doom, followed by the church in Lawrence. Good luck, Texas. Let's see how they come out of this thing. Right now, Zay, as a Texas fan, would you sign up for 2-2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't tell you which ones, but would you just sign up for 2-2? Blank slate.
I'll sign up. I'll sign up for 2-2.
Okay.
I would say the losses would be tomorrow night. I'd be all right with that. And then Allen Fieldhouse.
Okay.
I want that revenge on Kansas State. And you got to protect home court when Baylor comes into town. So I would break it down like that. But with how good all 4 of these teams are, if they look good, which this is like an oxymoron, if they look good and go 0-4, you don't like it, but at least you're losing to these high caliber, probably Final Four bound teams, depending on where they get ranked squads.
How about if you can only win one? Is it the home game?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to lose at home.
I wouldn't want to lose to him anywhere.
No.
much less at home. You don't want to do that. That's 5 o'clock tomorrow. And, of course, the NFL game's coming up on Sunday. Let's get into why today matters. It is January 27th. We got a few things to hit here. Maybe the most important reason why today matters is that Bucky told the baked potato story on the air today. It is on the YouTube page.
Wow.
Check it out, youtube.com/@thehornaustin. We're up to 651 subscribers. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. That's that first goal. Help us get there, would you please? We appreciate you for that. Shows on there, video shorts on there. The video of Zay breaking down the championship games already has 1,000 views, so go check that one out at YouTube. So I still need to hear the story. I've still never heard the baked potato story. I'm going to go hear that later on, so make sure you do that. You can also just access it there at hornfm.com. We also have, Zay, a couple of birthdays. It would have been Dr. Jerry Buss's 90th birthday today.
My man.
How about that?
What a G he was. Like, who has the thought of, when I own a basketball team, we're basically going to have a strip club in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
It might have not have been a strip club, but it was pretty damn close. It was a club to where after the game, you have a good game, go down there, and you could have another good game, if you know what I'm talking about.
An 80s supper club.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So he was the man, a trendsetter, had a good time. I love John C. Reilly in the biopic Winning Time on HBO. I thought he killed it. I know it was probably a little fictional at times, but I think of Jerry West. I think of Jerry West like that. And I love thinking Jerry West like that.
Are they going to re-rack that thing and hit
I
more
don't
seasons?
know.
Or
I don't know. I feel like you have to.
I enjoyed it. I
But
found
a lot of people did not like it. A lot of people did not approve, especially the ones that were involved, like Jerry West. I know Kareem was like, they got Kareem smoking the chronic.
Yeah,
and
Kareem wasn't thrilled with that.
It
either.
wasn't the best look, but John C. Reilly as Jerry Buss, he killed that. Plus, I love me some Jenny Buss, too. Have you seen the 91 Playboys, Brad? Jenny Buss.
I have not. I have not.
She's at the Forum,
Oh.
butted naked,
Wow. Okay.
holding basketballs, and they owned the hockey team back then. And
Man.
yeah, so
Okay.
he created that also. Love me some Jerry Buss for creating Jenny Buss.
Fair enough. All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Today is also the birthday of a guy that I feel like is hated in NFL circles. I haven't quite figured it out, but Chris Collinsworth is 64 years old today, and my buddy's wife, Sacamamo's wife, sends me at least 5 texts every NFL season of how much she hates Chris Collinsworth. Somebody on the text line said, I'd rather go full Helen Keller, that's an interesting way to say it, than ever have to listen to Brent Whoa Mama Musburger ever again. So Brent Musburger is on their list. Who are some of your least favorite broadcasters? Zay, is there anybody that drives you that crazy that you tell everybody you can't stand them? Like some people hate Joe Buck and Chris Collinsworth, and back in the day it was Joe Theismann. Some people convinced themselves they hated Bob Costas all these years. Any big dogs that you hate like that?
No, I respect the craft. I understand. It's a hard job. Somebody who's just started doing color analysts with Roger Wallace for high school games. It's a tough gig, and I respect everybody who does it. I think Craig Way is one of the greatest of all time. Him and Eddie Orr and everybody that he works with is terrific. So I like Musburger and Collinsworth. And plus, I'm so locked into the game anyway, they're not going to mess my rhythm up. Like, I'm going to be paying attention to the game. I could care less. Unless you're saying some Don Imus type of things, I could care less of what's going on. Yeah, I respect those guys. There's nobody that I hate. Now, my wife, on the other hand, if you're a woman in sports, she can't stand it.
Oh, no.
Oh, she's so sexist.
Oh, no.
It's so sad. Like, don't let Erin Andrews come on the screen.
Oh, see, I don't, yeah.
She will dog Erin Andrews. She'll dog Doris Burke. Like, she barely likes Candace Parker. Barely likes Candace Parker.
Really?
She just thinks Candace Parker is like a basketball Beyonce. So I think that's why she likes her. She just has like an aura about her. But still, come on, Doris Burke is the GOAT.
Oh, she's awesome.
Erin Andrews, she does a thing.
She's great. Yeah, I've never. It is weird. There are some people, and men and women. I've been around men and women that are like that. They get uncomfortable with women as broadcasters in certain situations. At times, my wife will say that too. She doesn't like it when I say it on the air. I'm like, come on, that's the truth. That's the way you feel.
What?
That's the way it is. But sometimes she'll have that feeling too, and it is really, really strange. How about this one? I can't stand Greg Olson. He's always looking for the negatives of the Cowboys. It's easy, but no need. Give me Troy Moose or Romo. They are unbiased. Wait, hold on, stop. So you're upset because you think somebody's being a little biased on the other side, but you want Troy Moose or Romo because they're unbiased?
All Cowboys guys.
Come on, man. See, that's the thing that I've never felt that way. The other people have convinced themselves. To me, this is when you know, I guess, you're good. Every Yankee fan thought Costas hated them. Red Sox fans thought he hated them. Joe Buck gets the same thing, and now people will tell you, I'm sure there are people out there that hate Troy Aikman, and they'll say, well, Troy Aikman is always pro-Cowboys. I'm an Eagles guy. I never think he gives us our respect. But I think he does a great job. So if there are any of those that are there, you let us know.
Now, I could see why people hate Bill Walton and RG3. I like both of those guys. I know they're quirky, especially Bill Walton and all the Molly and, drugs that he used to take in the 70s. I think that's kind of corrupted the dome to where he's so goofy and loofy out there.
I was going to say, at this moment, today, I'll take RG3 10 times out of 10 before Bill, because Bill's gone too far for me. I used to enjoy Bill. When it was him and Snapper Jones on NBC, that's Bill Walton. Because Bill Walton they'd get into some great basketball discussions.
In the 90s, NBC, Bill Walton was good.
Right, but the basketball has gone away now. It's just him, and you're right, it's him kind of fried out, not caring. I don't care if you're different. I don't care if you're unique.
Not caring.
I don't need you to be apathetic. You can't be apathetic and be on the broadcast. He does not care. And when he doesn't do Pac-12 games,
he really don't give a damn.
He tells you he doesn't care. That's useless to me. So Bill is a different deal. I actually grew to like the Mark Jones RG3 pairing this year. I thought those guys kind of found each other. They're both handsome, pretty cool black announcers that are really dorky old men deep down.
RG3 said that Texas Baylor game on Black Friday. Happy
Black Friday.
Black Friday, everybody.
One of the dorkiest dad jokes I've ever heard in my life. But I like them both. The references they'll make, they're having fun. There's always a smile in their voice.
Yeah.
And they know football. RG3 obviously knows ball.
Yeah, when he mucked up Bugaboo too, I love that. I love that, man. My man is country. He is from that part of Texas. Mike Harge, that's my guy. He country.
Oh, my God.
Them Killeen brothers over there, they country.
And he powered through that word mistake, too.
He powered through it.
Got right
he powered through it.
Other guys wouldn't have been able to recover from that one. That is why today matters for us. Little Jan 27. Tomorrow will be the 28th. Is there anybody to mention? Oh, Spurs fans. Greg Popovich will be 74 years old.
Pop.
Tomorrow. Happy birthday to Coach Pop. Tomorrow, I'm sure he will celebrate with some wine. I know he's way into that.
Yeah, all those Spurs guys love wine.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Manu and Tony and all those guys.
He'll go to a special cellar tomorrow, I'm sure, even if they're on the road, and he'll get it figured out. All right, coming up, Stems and Seeds. Before we are done on this Friday, we'll get you up to date on all the NFL stuff, including Dan Quinn staying with the Cowboys. Anything on Kellen Moore? Has anybody heard anything? Not that I'm interested or anything. This is The Horn. All right, let's get a little AV consultations talk going here. The media setup you've always wanted, that movie room you've always wanted. This is, Championship Sunday coming up in the NFL. You want to make sure you've got the right setup. You want to be the place where everybody wants to go for a Super Bowl party. They can do all kinds of different things for you. One big, great super screen, multiple screens, all the different things you've looked at. We've had people tell us they'll do one screen for them, one screen for the kids to have video games. You want to set up different rooms. They can do all of that for you. Remember, let them handle all the details. Let them buy the TVs. Let them buy the speakers, all the wires, all the switches, all the dials, because they can get all the deals that you can't get, and then they'll pass those savings on to you. They've got all those smart TVs that everybody's looking for. They've got the Sonos audio equipment, and they're not raising their prices like a lot of others do. AV Consultations. Call 255-8678. Be sure to tell them you heard about it here on The Horn. 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Almost done on a Friday. Good stuff there. This sounds like one particular guy to me, but then he says a couple words, and I think, oh, I don't know if it's him.
Stick with your gut.
It sounds like Ice Cube.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
All
right. So this is Ice Cube, but it's with the group that he was in.
So this is Ice Cube with NWA.
No. I'm sorry. Okay. The group after NWA.
Group after NWA.
I should have been more clear there.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so this will educate me. A group with Ice Cube in it after NWA. You don't know
who this guy is.
Yeah, not familiar with it. What is it?
This is West Side Connection.
Okay.
This is Dub C. Mac 10's the other member, along with Ice Cube.
Ah, okay.
So they're like West Coast underground legends, and then they got more national fame because they team with Ice Cube.
West Side Connection. Okay. So West Side Connection finishing off today. We had En Vogue earlier. We had Billy Ocean. We had Hank Jr. Had the Bangles and Janet Jackson, all part of the show. Also, let me see if I get this right. A beat to start the hour, Lil Wayne, Turk, BG, and Juvenile.
The Hot Boys.
The Hot Boys.
The Hot Boys.
I should have just written that down. That
yeah,
would have been
easy.
The Hot Boys. Okay, there we go. Would that be boys with a Z or an S?
I think it's Z.
It's a Z?
Yeah.
Well, boys with a Z?
I think it's Z.
I'm learning at an accelerated rate. All right, hope you're having a good one. Let's get some stems and seeds before we get out of here. There's one thing we haven't even mentioned today.
No stress, no seeds, no stems, no sticks.
And we need to. Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. I just saw this a few minutes ago, and you reminded me it's Mike Harge's birthday today.
What up, Harge?
Happy birthday, Harge.
Happy birthday, DJ's father.
There you go. DJ's dad is what you're going to call him forever, right? Yeah, I don't know a whole lot of guys who flip out that much about their birthday. I don't know if Harge is one of those guys, but happy birthday to Harge. Hope he has a good birthday.
Absolutely, my guy.
And to any of you who have birthdays today, we hope you have a good one too. Cowboys going to have Dan Quinn. Do you think Kellen Moore's coming back? What's your gut tell you?
I hope he's coming back.
Oh, what do you mean you hope?
I hope he's coming back. I think he's the right guy.
Do you?
I do.
For what?
Offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, the 2023 Super Bowl champs.
Oh, to get him that far, huh? Okay.
Yeah, keep the guy.
See,
he already has a home there, probably has a kid, nice wife. Yeah, very comfortable. Don't make him move. Come on.
You are being your vision is being clouded by the fact that you want Bijan Robinson. You think they're gonna go win a Super Bowl if they have Kellen Moore calling plays for Bijan Robinson.
Oh yeah, they right there.
You think you think he's gonna pay attention to Bijan any more than Sark did?
Maybe a little bit.
Because you always say they're kind of the same guy.
They are very similar.
Okay. I'm just
we'll
checking.
See.
I'm just checking.
We'll see.
I'm just checking. All right, we'll see how that one goes. Also, Texans fans, I'm seeing this DeMeco Ryans story starting to develop even more. Looks like that could be your guy. That could be a perfect fit for the Houston Texans. If nothing gets messed up, if nothing goes too weird from now to then, it could happen. Will Nick Caserio stay as the GM in that case? Or could there be another GM at some point? That might be my first question if I'm DeMeco Ryans. But you can't ask it because apparently Nick Caserio's taken over that whole culture in Houston. All right, everybody have a great weekend. I'm going Eagles, Bengals. You doing the same thing?
49ers, Bengals.
49ers, Bengals.
Yeah, let's go 49ers, Bengals.
You going Super Bowl 16 and Super Bowl 23 rematch, huh?
Yeah, let's see what Brock Purdy could do in Lincoln Financial.
I don't care what happens. I'm rooting for that AFC thing in the Super Bowl. That's all I know. Y'all have a good weekend. Ball Don't Lie coming up with Rod Babers and the birthday boy, Mike Harge. Keep it right here on the Horn, Texas and Tennessee.